Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to my Final Fantasy set review of the limited variety. So this is not constructed. We are rating cards based on their limited applications, draft sealed, and whatnot. Shoutouts to Wizards of the Coast for making me an ambassador of the format. Now, normally I do not do set reviews. Normally I jump in, as you all know, to a format fresh, hot, spicy. So my first sealed or draft is usually my first look at the cards. I might see a random preview beforehand, but for the vast majority of a new set, I jump in without any prior information. So again, we are using mtgset.review, cool new site. The creator, I think, was in the chat just a little while ago, wondering if I was going to use it, and yes, it looks great. We will start with Wooburg order. White, Adalbert Steiner. I might not know the correct pronunciation that is, of every single card, as I never played the Final Fantasy games myself, so apologies if I butcher the names. 2 mana, 2/1, lifelink. It is a legendary creature, human knight. This creature gets +1/+1 for each equipment you control. So there is definitely an equipment theme in the format. This is just a decent 2-drop, right? 2/1 lifelink that can get bigger. What is this, So I'm going to rate things on a scale of like 1 to 5. 1 being unplayable, garbage, trash. Maybe it has constructed applications, but for limited, you're not going to ever want to play it. 5, the best of the best. You want to play this every single time. You know, it is basically like a colorless bomb. But though there will be bombs that are 5s in other colors, of course. So, 2/1 lifelink for 2 gets pumped for each equipment you control. Doesn't need to even be equipped. I think this is probably like a 2.5, right? Above average for a 2-drop. You're happy to play it if you're playing white. Most decks, I think, in this format are going to have some equipment, so not a bad one. Aerith Gainsborough. White and 2 for a 2/2, another lifelinker, another legendary creature. You can expect to see a lot of legendaries, as this is the Final Fantasy set, of course. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Aerith. When Aerith dies, put a X 1/1 counters on each legendary creature you control, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on Aerith Gainsborough. Pretty solid. It's not, I don't think, a huge pickup or anything. It's maybe a little bit of a build around, right? There is also a life gain theme in the format, so it's not going to be too hard for this to gain life via other means. Or rather, it's not going to be hard to trigger this via other means besides itself. Obviously, it has lifelink, but just like the creature we looked at previously, you can gain life through other modes, get it pumped up, and we've already seen there are a couple of legendaries, so it's not like in a lot of formats where some kind of legendary ability is basically irrelevant in limited. No, that one's going to be relevant. So give this a 3. Solid rare, not a huge bomb, kind of a role player, can get you some value. Good enough. Aerith Rescue Mission, white and 3, sorcery, choose 1. They've added some names just for the cards, or abilities of the cards, but they don't actually matter all that much. So 4 mana, sorcery common, make 3 1/1 hero creature tokens, or tap up to 3 target creatures, put a stun counter on one of them. This card is usually okay. The modal effects, you have your options. If one mode is good, you use that. If the other mode is good, you use that. This is, I would say, like a 2.5 common. I think you're always going to be playing this in your white decks. You're not looking to necessarily splash for it, but it's just a decent playable card. Ambrosia Whiteheart. This is a white and 1 2/2 legendary creature bird. We've seen 3 for 3 legendary creatures already. That just goes to tell you how decent that type of ability might be. Anyways, 2/2 flash. When it enters, you can return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. And landfall of the Chocobo bird ability of getting +1/+0 until end of turn. This is just a solid uncommon. Like, old school white mane lion, you had to bounce something. No, this is a may return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. You can bounce lands with this. Doesn't say non-land, so if you want to reset landfall triggers, you can do that as well. Honestly, I would rate this probably just as solid as the Aerith or whatever she was called. Like, obviously, Aerith can pop off a little bit harder, but Ambrosia Whiteheart, just a very solid uncommon. I'm gonna give that a 3. Ash, Princess of Dalmasca, white and 2 for a 3/2. Legendary creature again. Whenever Ash attacks, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This might be the worst creature we've seen so far, and it's still, like, not bad. Again, there are a bunch of equipment in the format. This has to attack, though, to get the ability, so you're not always going to have a great attack with a 3/2, especially if you don't have this down on turn 3 or whatever, right? This is like a 2. I mean, it's fine. Sometimes you're going to high roll and you're going to be able to attack with it, maybe multiple times even, and maybe hit multiple times. But this is completely average. Arin's Inspiration, white and 2, instant, uncommon. Attacking creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn with flashback. Generally, I am not a big fan of this type of card. It does get a lot better that it has flashback, so if the first swing of things doesn't work out, you have the ability to cast it again later on. I'm still just going to give this like a 2.0 rating. It's fine. It's not my style of card. Maybe it's better than I'm giving it credit for, and there are ways to go wide in this format, so I'm sure I will undoubtedly play this card, right? But at the end of the day, it's just Trumpet Blast with flashback. Not bad. Definitely playable in the right deck. And it's okay that it's, once it's in your graveyard, your opponent knows you have it available, but oftentimes that type of effect isn't that easy to play around anyway, so playable, not great. Battle menu, white and 1, instant, uncommon. Choose one. Attack, ability, magic, item. So 4 different modes here on the battle menu. Base is just make a 2/2 at instant speed. That's good. Ability, target creature gets +0/+4 until end of turn, so you can save something in combat or from a removal spell, damage-based removal spell. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. That's really good. Kill something fat. And then item of gain 4 life. So individually, all of these modes, they wouldn't be that exciting. Maybe making a 2/2 or killing a creature with power 4 or greater at instant speed would be fine enough. But altogether, no, this is a good uncommon. Like, this is a 3.25. I'm going to play this every single time if I'm playing white. It is a very versatile card. It's probably even splashable, though I don't know if I would splash it by itself, but if you had some other white cards you were planning on splashing for, again, the versatility, this type of card I always like, so above average for sure, decent. Cloud Midgar Mercenary, white, 2/1, legendary creature, human soldier mercenary. When it enters, search your library for an equipment, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. As long as Cloud is equipped, if an ability of Cloud or an equipment attached to it triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So I don't know how many equipment are in the format, but I do know there are quite a few. I'd be hesitant to give this anything less, I'd say, than a 3.5. It might be pushing 4 territory. Just because of the equipment I do know, there are some strong ones. And at its base is like 2/1 for 2. Obviously, okay, maybe 2/1 for 2 is not great. But if it's a 2/1 for 2 that draws you an equipment, that's very good. So early on in a draft, you take this. It's not going to be hard to make it decent. I think this is like a 4-ish star rating. Yeah. Cloud, Midgar Mercenary. Best card I think we've seen so far. And it's a mythic. Obviously, there are some constructed applications, but who cares about constructed? I'm not going into that. Cloudbound Moogle. White, 3 for a 2/3 flying Moogle. When this enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, so you can target itself. But then it has the lovely Plains cycling ability. So I believe there is a land cycling of each type in the format, though I could be wrong. I know there's at least a black swamp cycling as well, right? I'm going to assume there's one of each. I don't actually remember off the top of my head. But anyways, this one individually, 5 mana, 3/4 flying isn't exciting. It's like passable. But the fact that it has plane cycling, I say would put it up there. Notably, this is not basic plane cycling. I don't think there are any non-basic planes in the format, but for like cubes and whatnot, I guess this is not that even good for a cube. Okay, anyways, deleting cube. I'm going to give this like a 2.5. You're going to put this in your white decks. It's not the most exciting plane cycler, but it's fine. Quirrell? I don't remember how to, or I don't know how to pronounce that. Searle? White and 1, 2/2, Cat Beast. Ability of white and 1, tap target non-enchantment creature. Tappers and limiter are fine. And this one's a 2/2 for 2 at its base, so at 2.5. Like, I'll play this. I don't think there are that many enchantment creatures, right? There are. Don't get me wrong. It can't tap the Saga creatures, a new creature type that we'll see later on, but it's still going to tap, I would guess, the majority of creatures in the format, so decent. Crystal Fragments. All right. A white for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, and it's only 1 to equip. So, Leonin Scimitar by itself, but then it has the 7 mana ability of exiling it, return it to the battlefield, transformed under its owner's control at sorcery speed, and it flips into Summon Alexander. A 4/3. Okay, this is what we were talking about. This is a Saga enchantment creature. So, it's a 4/3 on chapters 1 and 2. The first chapter is prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures you control this turn. That's decent. And then the third chapter is tap all creatures your opponents control. So, remember on these, once the Saga has hit its final chapter, unless it specifies otherwise, it dies, right? So it's only a creature on your side of the battlefield for the first 2 chapters. On the third turn with it, it will use its last ability of tapping all creature your opponent control, and then it'll die. But it's a 4/3 flyer. It's a 1 mana, 1 +1/+1 equipment for 1 to equip. Like, this is probably above average for equipments. 2.5. I'm not going to give it anything higher than a 3, but this is perfectly serviceable in a white deck, you know? The Crystal's Chosen. White 5 sorcery. Make 4 1/1 colorless heroes creature tokens. Then put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Wow. So 7 mana, 4 2/2s at its base. And if you have any additional creatures, they are all also going to get pumped. That's pretty good. Like, if it was a single white, I would give this a 4. I think the double white is making me put this at like a 3.5. Maybe like a 3.25. We're going to have to see how fast this format is, because 7 mana is, of course, a lot. But that just looks like a very, very decent card to me. Very good. Probably one of the better uncommons, I would say. Or at least one of the better uncommons we've seen so far. So it is, but going wide is not irrelevant, especially with all the pump effects we've already seen. 4 2/2s for 7 mana, plus the added bonus of pumping what you already have is nice. I like it. Delivery Moogle. White and 3 for a 3/2 flying. When it enters, search your library and or graveyard for an artifact card with mana value 2 or less, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. This kind of feels like a flying cloud to me in a sense. Search your library and or graveyard for an artifact card with mana value 2 or less, reveal it. So I assume you're normally going to be grabbing an equipment with this. Yeah, this is like a 3-ish quality card. 2.75. You need to have a couple of hits, but the nice thing is, if one of them's in your graveyard, if it's died or something, or you've transformed it into a Saga and then it's died that way, like that white equipment we saw earlier, you can still grab that. 4 mana, 3 power flyer in limited? Yeah. 2.75? Not bad. Not bad at all. Dion Bahamut's Dominant. This might be the best card we've seen so far, because it flips into something nasty, and it already does something nasty. White and 3, 3/3 legendary creature. During your turn, Dion and other knights you control have flying, so kind of good there. When it enters, you make a 2/2 white knight. 6 mana, exile it, return it to the battlefield, transformed under its owner's control, and this is where things get gross. Bahamut, Warden of Light. 5/5 first 2 chapters, put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. Those creatures gain flying until end of turn. That's busted. The final saga trigger, destroy target permanent, exile Bahamut, then return it to the battlefield. So this is one of those sagas that is going to come back. It doesn't die after the final chapter, right? And when it does come back, it's going to make another 2/2. So if somehow your opponent has lived through the final chapter, I mean, it's setting up to do it again. Like, this is splashable for just the hard cast. The double white you need to flip it. This is, I mean, 4.5? I think the only reason I'm hesitant to give it a 5 is because the activated ability requires double white. Maybe this is a 4.75? This thing looks gross to me. Absolute bomb. Absolute bomb. Play that card if you open it. Dragoon's Lance, another equipment. This is white and 1 for Job Select. I think this is actually the first Job Select card we've seen, but there are quite a few in the format. So Job Select is, when this equipment enters, you make a 1/1 colorless hero token, and then you attach the equipment to it. So nice little value there as it gets the free auto equip. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and is a knight in addition to its other types. During your turn, equipped creature has flying. So this is Bahamut's flavor lance here. It is naturally 4 to equip. So it's a 2-mana, 2/1 flyer. During your turn, it's flying anyways. 4 to equip is a little bit expensive. I don't mind this card, though. 2.5, 2.75. Above average, but nothing exciting. Dwarven Castle Guard, white and 1 for a 2/1 dwarf soldier. When this dies, make a 1/1. We've seen this creature before. It's like a... What was that? What was the most recent one? Beskar Initiate or something? Beskar Shieldmate. This is okay. This is a 2. A 2.2 if I'm going to be generous. If you need a curve filler, this is reasonable enough. In this day and age, your 2-drops can be a lot better. So, playable. But yeah, classic 2. Fate of the Suncrest, white 4 instant. Costs 2 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature. All right, we've all seen this type of effect before. And then it just destroys a non-land permanent. Not bad. Just classic white removal here. Instant speed's good. Give this a 2.75. Splashable if you need removal. Not like the most busted removal you've ever seen, but just solid. From Father to Son, this looks like a constructed card. White and 1, sorcery. Search your library for a vehicle, reveal it, put it in your hand. If this was cast from a graveyard, put that card on the battlefield instead, then shuffle. I think there are a few of these type of cards where if you've cast them from your graveyard, they have an additional effect. I don't know how many vehicles are in the format. I would guess you would need to open some really good ones for you to want to play this card. This is 1.5. Or maybe even a 1. And then maybe if there's like Sky Sovereign type quality cards, maybe you consider playing this card, but this is not that good. That is intended for constructed is my guess. White and 4, Grahatia, 3/5 reach legendary creature cat archer. Whenever one or more other creatures and or artifacts you control die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Oh, this is just a classically good card. Oftentimes you'll look at it and be like, yeah, that's fine, not exciting, but I think this is a pretty damn good card. 3/5 reach for 5, that's okay base stats. The draw a card ability is going to be extremely annoying to play against, or extremely good if you have it. Like, this is a 3 at least, maybe a 3.25. Very good, just a solid all-around card, I'd say. Galacat. White and 2, 1/3 flying Vig. As long as you control 2 or more artifacts, this creature gets +2/+0. This is going to be one of those role player cards. At its base, I'm just going to give it a 2. But I'm sure that there are going to be some good artifact strategies. Like, we've already seen some other artifact mattered cards, right? So, I'll give this a 2 for now. But turning into a 3/3 flying Vigilance, potentially on turn, attacking on turn like 4... This is probably like a 2 to a 3, depending on your deck, but base I'm going to just give it a 2. Machinists. It's not machinists, is it? I'm pretty sure this is pronounced like machinists. Machinists Arsenal. Machinists Arsenal. Machinist? Which one is it? This is not even a Final Fantasy word, by the way. It is machinist. Okay. Machinist's Arsenal. White and 4. Artifact equipment. This one also has job select. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 for each artifact you control and is an artificer in addition to its other types. Okay, so baseline, it's giving +2/+2 because of the artifact itself, or the equipment itself. So this is another one of those scalable cards, right? I think this is another one of those scalable cards. The equip cost is 4, which is a little bit expensive, but let's see. It's a 5 mana 3/3 at its base. If you have any other artifact, it's a 5/5 for 5, and then again, it just gets better and better. So I would say this is like a 2.5 all the way up to potentially a 4. I guess maybe a 2 to a 4. It really depends. You need to have artifacts. If you have like 3 artifacts in your deck, this is not very good. Yeah. Oh, wait, am I reading that wrong? When this equipment create a 1/1 colorless creature, equipped creature gets +2/+2 for each artifact you control and is an artificer in addition to its other types. Wait, what am I reading wrong there? That's what I said, right? 5 mana 3/3. Okay, chat's going crazy. Yeah, 5 mana 3/3 at its worst. It counts the artifact itself. The artificer is not an artifact. Great, there we go. Magitech Armor, white and 3, 4/4 for a vehicle that, when it enters, make a 1/1 colorless hero creature token. Crew 1. Oh, that's good. That gives vibes of the Rambler, the 5/4 that made a 1/1 flyer. You remember that? 5/4 made a 1/1 flyer that crewed for 1. Yeah, 4 mana 4/4 makes a 1/1 cruise for 1. That's solid. 3, 2.75. Just decent white card. Magitech Infantry, white for a 1/1 artifact creature robot soldier. This gets +1/+0 as long as you control another artifact. Search your library for a card named Magitech Infantry, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. That's really cool. I wish it had the clause of this, a deck may have any number of this card. So, there is a very large artifact theme. I mean, this is still like a 2. I would need to have like 3 in order for me to really want to play them, unless, I guess with 2 and a big artifact theme, you're fine. But even if you do have a big artifact theme, maybe it's a range from like 2 to 3, you know? Oh, that's true. In Limited, you can have as many as you want. Right. Well, still. I'm going to give this a varying score, 2 to 3. It's like, okay. It's not always going to be a 2/1, remember? It generally is if you're drafting this card, but... Minwu White Mage, white 3, 3/3 Vigilance Lifelink, legendary human cleric. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on each cleric you control. That's interesting. I don't know how many clerics are in the format, and a 3/3 Vigilance Lifelink for 5 is not good on its own, realistically. But we've already seen a bunch of other life gain synergies. And there is a life gain theme in the format. So I think in draft, if you pick this early, you could probably try to build around it. I'll give it like a 2.5 at its base level. And then obviously it scales up the more synergy your deck has. Yeah, it grows itself. So I think this is probably a base 2.5 that just gets better. It's not like you need more clerics since it grows itself. As long as you can gain life, which there are a lot of ways to do so. Moogle's Valor, white 3, instant. For each creature you control, create a 1/2 white Moogle creature token with lifelink. Then creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. This is gonna very, very high ceiling, but also a very low floor. So, if you can get at least 3 creatures off of this, it's like a 3.25, right? I mean, anything more than 3, and it's just gonna get crazy, crazy, crazy. But you're not always gonna be like. There are times it's gonna be stranded in your hand because you have like 1 creature, maybe 2. You know. I like this type of card though. The effect is so swingy that oftentimes you can try to craft a board state around this. And by the looks of things, we've seen a ton of token producers in white already, right? So I'm going to give this a high rating of a 3. And obviously, it can do nothing, but it can also be the nuts. So I like this type of card. Paladin's Arms, white and 2 for an artifact equipment job select. So it's going to make a 1/1 that equips the equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and has ward 1 and is a knight in addition to its other types. And then the native equip cost is 4. So 3 mana for a 3/2 ward 1 knight. There are knight synergies with 4 to equip. That's not bad. Not bad for a common at all. Yeah, 2.5. Easy. Not any worse, not any better. Phoenix Down. White for an artifact. White and 1. Exile this artifact. Choose 1. Return a creature with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Or exile target skeleton, spirit, or zombie. This is one of those cards, I'm not sure about how many skeleton, spirit, or zombies are in the format. I assume there must be a handful. But even as just having a return a creature ability with mana value 4 or less from the graveyard, and that you can do that at instant speed, this is probably decent. 2.5, and then obviously gets better with the more targets you have for skeleton, spirits, or zombies. That's not bad. It's also an artifact for artifact synergies, you know? Restoration Magic. Okay, this is the first of the magics. There is 1 in each color. This one is the white one. So if you just pay a single white, you can give a permanent hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Okay, not exciting. Kind of playable. For white and 1, target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. You gain 3 life. All right, we've seen life gain synergies. For 2 white and 3 permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. You gain 6 life. This is kind of like a role player at 2.25. It's just probably above filler status. Gets better when you have the life gain synergies. I'm not looking to take this early. Side quest, Catch a Fish, white and 2 enchantment. Beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's in an artifact or creature, you may reveal it, put it in your hand. If you put a card in your hand this way, create a food and transform into Cooking Campsite. So adds a white. So it actually could be ramp in limited. White ramp in limited. 3 tap, sack it, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, activate only as a sorcery. Okay, that's not terrible. Let's see though. How many artifacts / creatures are you going to have in your deck? Let's say the base is you have 15 creatures. And then maybe you have like 3 artifacts because there's a lot of equipment. That's not bad. You get a food token. It ramps. It's a late game. I mean, I'm guessing it looks better than it is. I'm just going to give this a 2.5. I don't think it's busted. I think it's reasonable. I think it's playable. I don't think it's OP. Slash of Light. White 1 instant. Deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control plus the number of equipment you control to target creature. So a little bit better than the classic just X damage, where X is the number of creatures you control, of course. As that way, you don't necessarily need to have that many creatures. You can have a couple of equipment floating around. But I don't generally like this card. White, as we've seen, is pretty go wide. But this is 2.25. I'm sure there are going to be many better. Did I misread the sacrifice? Oh, sacrifice an artifact, put a 1/1 counter. Okay, that makes it a little bit better, but still, I'm not going to give it a 3. Maybe it's a 2.75 instead. Anyways, even if you have a bunch of job select equipment, I don't think this card is all that good. I think it's a 2.25. You're going to play it in those decks, but it's not exciting. Snowvilliers. White 2, legendary creature with vigilance. Power equal the number of creatures you control, and it has 3 toughness. So on its own, it's a 1/3. This is fine. We've seen this type of creature in white before. It generally plays out decently. It's another one of those cards, though, that you need to have other creatures, right? If you only have 1, 2 creatures, this thing's pretty bad. On the battlefield, that is. But the later the game goes, or if you're able to swarm, no, this is fine. This is 2. I guess 2.5 makes sense. 2.5. I'm on 2.5 for that. Stiltskin Moogle Merchant, a white 1/2 lifelink for 1. A white 1/2 lifelink for 1 white. Tap 2 and tap it. Target opponent gains control of another target permanent you control. If they do, you draw a card. I will say this can kind of hose removal from your opponent's side, right? It's like a weird protection against removal. If your opponent tries to kill something other than Stiltskin, you can use the ability in response. You draw a card, and then, the creature would die. And it's a 1/2 lifelink for 1. So that has synergies with the lifelink stuff. I don't think this is I don't think this is unplayable. I don't think it's insane, but I think it's definitely playable. So I'm willing to give it a 2.5. I think that's totally fine. Yeah, totally. Summon Choco / Mog. All right, our first Choco. Oh no, we saw a couple Chocos. White and 2 for a 3/3 Saga creature. All 4 of its chapters are other creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. That's not bad. That goes really well with the white go wide theme that we've seen. It will die after the 4th chapter, but that's just an okay playable common. 2.25? Yeah. I don't think it's as good as like Stiltskin or whatever, but it's definitely reasonable. Summon Knights of Round. White 6. 3/3. 4 chapters of making 3 2/2 knights. With the 5th chapter, other creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Put an indestructible counter on each of them. Oh, it's a 3/3 indestructible itself. Right. Yes. For sagas, when they hit their final chapter, you can note it at the top there. It says sacrifice after. For example, chapter 4. This one's insane. So it's a 3/3, but because it's indestructible, your opponent's going to have a hard time dealing with it, which means if this sits on the battlefield for any number of turns, you're going to be very hard pressed to lose at that point. Like, on the 2nd turn, it will have made 6 2/2s. 6 2/2s. So base stats say they somehow have a -X effect. It would be an 8 mana 3/3 and 3 2/2s, right? So even if they kill it, you're still up 3 2/2s. No, this thing is nuts. The mana cost is the only thing holding this back. This is another 4.5. What did I give the other one to? Bahamut? Yeah, this again, format dependent. We're not sure how fast this format's going to be. But if you cast this card, I would say you're very likely to win the game, assuming you're not just dead on the crackback or something. Very good. Summon Primal Garuda. White 3, 3/3 Saga creature. Aerial Blast is the 1st chapter. Deals 4 damage to target tapped creature an opponent controls. That's very good. Oh, 3/3 flying. Next 2 chapters, another target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains flying until. Oh, this is a great uncommon. Because even though it's a saga with only 3 chapters, so it will die relatively quickly to its own ability. If you've killed anything with this, that's already up in value. And then, yeah, that pushes a lot of pressure. This is like a 3, maybe a 3.25. This is a really good uncommon, I think. Very nice. Ultima! White, white, 3. Destroy all artifacts and creatures. End the turn for sorcery. Generally, the end the turn is not going to be that relevant. I will say, though, if your opponent has like creatures that have triggers when they die, that gets rid of those. I don't love wrath effects in limited. Some wrath effects, like Sunfall and whatnot, or Phyrexian Rebirth, those are kind of busted. But just regular wrath effects, I think, are more akin to like ratings of 3. Especially if you think about it, the white theme, if you're playing white, is generally, from what we've seen, go wide. So this is kind of like counterproductive to your plan. But I think it's a solid 3. Yeah, I'd give it a solid 3. Venet, Heart of Hydaelyn. White, white, 1, 3/3 legendary creature, Elder Wizard. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. And then an ability of 7 and tap, exile target non-land permanent. Transform Venet. Hydaelyn, the Mother Crystal. 4/4 no, not flying. 4/4 indestructible. Beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on another target creature you control until your next turn it gains indestructible. If that creature is legendary, draw a card. Oh, that card's very good. We've seen a million legendaries. So 3 mana 3/3 that probably can draw you a couple of cards if it sits. And then if it does get to transform, it gets to exile a permanent and turn into a 4/4 indestructible that starts buffing your other stuff. Yeah, that's nice. 3.75? At least a 3.5. Maybe not quite a 4. Very solid white rare. Very solid. Weapons Vendor. White 3, 2/2. When this enters, draw a card. At the beginning of combat, if you control an equipment, you may pay 1. When you do, attach target equipment you control to target creature you control. Oh, that's good. 4 mana 2/2, draw a card with an okay ability. Yeah, 2.5. 2.6. 2.7. I doubt I'm going to want to run like a ton of these. But it replaces itself, and it has a relevant enough ability, you know? White Arasite. White, white, and 2 for an artifact. When it enters, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. And it taps for a white. Cool. Cool take on one of these exile effects until it leaves the battlefield. The double white means it's going to be difficult to splash for it, so 2.75 or a 3? I kind of like the fact that it adds mana. That's neat. Yeah, decent. White Mage's Staff. All right, white and 1 for a job select. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, and whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life and is a cleric in addition to its other types. Equip cost of 3. So it's a 2 mana 2/2 that whenever it attacks, you gain 1, and it's a cleric. Equip 3. Good role player for the life gain synergy deck. Worst case, it's a 2 mana 2/2 that leaves around an equipment. Yeah, 2.75. 2.5. Always happy to play that, I think. The Wind Crystal, the first of the crystals. White, white, 2. White spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. If you would gain life, you gain twice that much life. 6 mana ability of creatures you control gain flying and lifelink until end of turn. That ability is really strong, but I bet you this is probably not that good. I think this is probably going to be more of a trap card than anything. If you can assemble a really decent life gain deck, sure, I might play this. But I think people are going to try to play this, and it's generally not going to be all that good. 6 mana is a lot. I mean, I guess if you're going wide, it's fine. I will give it just above a 2. I'm going to say 2.25. And that might be generous. This is one of those cards that I think is going to be a trap for the most part. It's a fun build around. Fun build around. I'm sure I will play it, but probably not a card you're supposed to. Like, yeah. That maybe that's better. Yeah, maybe that. No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a 1.5 that could turn into a, yeah, sure. In any case, it's, yeah. hesitant to say that's a good card because it's probably not. You're Not Alone. White, for an instant, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If you control 3 or more creatures, get +4/+4 until end of turn. Yeah. Not a bad combat trick. Sure. Give that a 2. I guess, well, okay, so I should definitely give Wind Crystal like a 1.5. If I'm going to give this a 2, I think this is much better than that. So, not that I'm a big fan of combat tricks, but this one's totally reasonable. Zach Fair, white for an 0/1 that enters with a 1/1 counter, so it is a 1/2 for 1. Pay 1 and sack it. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Put Zach Fair's counters on that creature and attach an equipment that was attached to Zach Fair to that creature. That's a good 1-drop. It's just all value there. I mean, you have to pay 1 to give something protection in a sense, but it also moves a 1/1 counter around. No, that's a solid. That's a solid 1-drop. What are you hoping to get from a 1-drop? This is 2.75. 2.5. Always playable in your white decks, for sure. Beatrix, Loyal General, 6 mana, 4/4, Vigilance. Beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of equipment you control to target creature you control. 6 mana, 4/4, Vigilance is not good. The ability is cool. I would guess this looks better than it will generally play out. Obviously, there will be some situations where like you cast this and then you get to somehow equip like 3 equipment and it's insane, but I think this is probably more just like a 2.5er. 6 mana, 4/4 Vigilance. The ability is cool. Yeah, you need a decent number of equipment, I think, to make that any much. Rosa, Resolute White Mage, white 3, 2/3 reach. Beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains lifelink until end of turn. Busted. Easy 4. Busted. I'll splash for this card every time. Not like a crazy insano bomb, but I'm playing this every time, and I will splash for it. Oh, it's not in draft. Wait, I need to turn off, apparently. Let's see. How do I turn off? Is it just... There's a way to turn off those cards. Read chat. Yes, I see it's not in draft. Oh, wait, was this thing not in draft either? I think there's some way I can turn off the weird sets. Maybe there's not? Okay, well, F it. I gave it a rating anyways. I have to watch the card number. Oh, I see. That one was 555. Gotcha. Okay. In any case, we're on to blue. That wraps up white. Astrologian's Planisphere. Astrologian's Planisphere. White 1. Job select equipment. Equipped creature is a wizard in addition to its other types and has whenever you cast a non-creature spell and whenever you draw your 3rd card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. That's very cool. And it's only 2 mana to equip. I like that. 2 mana, 2/2. Wait, no. 2 mana, 1/1 at its base. But then casting non-creature spells grows the creature. I mean, it's a little bit fragile. If you go all in on a creature, you added like 2 or 3 counters and then they get rid of it. Sure, that's awkward, but I think this is probably pretty decent for blue. 2.75. I'm always going to play it unless my deck is just like mono creatures. Astrologians. Oh, wait, what did I say? Astrologians. Whatever. Astrologians. What did I say? Astrologian. No, I added an extra O in there or something. Cargo ship. Blue and 1. 2/3 flying vigilance vehicle. Add colorless. Spend this mana only to cast an artifact spell or activate an ability of an artifact source. Crew for 1. Well, that's pretty good. 2/3 flying Vig vehicle that crews for 1. 2.5er. I like that type of card. Combat Tutorial. Blue 2 sorcery. Target player draws 2. Put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. Creep! Divination with upside. What is Divination? A classic 2.5? I don't know if there are... I don't know if there are any 1/1 counter synergies, or at least I can't think of any off the top of my head. Maybe there are. Yeah, 2.5 easy. Dragoon's Wyvern. Blue 2, 2/1 flying. When it enters, make a 1/1. Hey! It's the classic 3-mana 2-power flyer that makes a 1/1. Is this as good as like the Preening Champion or whatever it was called? Do we give it a 3? It's probably better than 2.5. Maybe it's a 2.75. Just a solid common. Did Preening Champion have Convoke? I didn't think Preening Champion had Convoke. Dreams of... Oh, wait, you meant Preening Champion was a set with Convoke, maybe. Dreams of Laguna. Blue 1, instant, surveil 1, then draw a card with flashback. I love this type of card. I'm not going to give it anything more than like a 2.5, but if I'm blue, I'm playing this every time. Just good value, man. Just good value. Edgar, King of Figaro. Blue 4, 4/5. When it enters, draw a card for each artifact you control, and then the first time you flip 1 or more coins, each turn those coins come up heads and you win. Okay, so it's a 6-mana 4/5 that draws a card for each artifact you control. Anywhere from like a 2 to a 3.25. I mean, most decks are going to have some number of artifacts. If this is a 4/5 that draws 1 card, that's kind of whatever. As soon as you start drawing 2 or more cards, then I think it becomes pretty good. Yeah. Actually, this is probably like a 2.25 or a 2.5 at its base. Every deck's going to have some artifacts. Man, I can just imagine casting this and drawing like 4 cards, and it's like, ooh, yeah. Eject. Blue 3, instant, can't be countered. Return non-land permanent to its owner's hand, draw a card. Instant speed, bounce, card draw. 2.75. A little bit expensive. 2.5, 2.75. Either blue and 3, artifact, exile it, add blue. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets. I like that. Again, a little bit expensive. But man, if you have some good instants or sorceries, you can think of this as maybe another like big card draw effect. You can think of this as another removal spell. I shouldn't give it more than a 2.5 though. That's probably me just liking that type of card more than it's worth. Go-Go! Master of Mimicry. Blue 2, 2/4. Legendary creature wizard. This is a mythic. XX tap. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control X times. You may choose new targets for the copies. This ability can't be copied, and X can't be 0. What are the best activated and triggered abilities in the format? I'm sure there are some really crazy ones. This is also a 3-mana 2/4, so it's not like terrible stat-wise. This is probably like a base 2.25, right? Or 2.25. Yeah, 2.25. Oh, Sagas, right. Yeah. So just to copy a Saga ability once is 2 mana and tap? Okay. No, I'm willing to give this a base 2.5 because of all the Sagas, you're right. Didn't think about that. 2.5 plus. Easy. I mean, sure, it's meant for Commander, but this is probably going to be pretty decent and limited, I would say. Ice Flan. It's probably not pronounced like that. Ice Flan. Blue 4, 5/4. When it enters, tap an artifact or creature an opponent controls, put a stun counter on it, land cycling. Any island, or any, not land, island cycler. Any land cycler, I'm going to give its base 2.25. They're just always decent. Maybe even a 2.5 for any of the land cyclers is correct. but they're generally not going to be much better than like a 3 at best, unless they're a really, really good one. But solid. Always going to play it in blue. Here's the blue magic. Blue and 1 instant. So blue and 1 with 0. Return a creature to its owner's hand. So just a bounce for 2 mana. For 4 mana, you turn it into a tuck effect. And the opponent gets to choose whether it's top or bottom. And then for 8 mana, 8 mana, blue 6, it is a pure shuffle it into their library. So versatile bounce effect, scalable. Yeah, I like this card. 2.5. I'll basically always play the first copy in a blue deck. Ilmeg Pixie, huh? Blue 1, 2/1 flying. When it attacks, surveil 1. Oh, that's just classically good. Classically good 2-drop, 2 power flyer. Easy 2.75, maybe 3. Always happy to play this in your blue decks. Not a slam dunk first pick or anything, but just like solid 2-drop role player. Jill Shiva's Dominant. Blue 2, 2/2. When it enters, return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's. Okay, so baseline better mana war because it can bounce non-land permanents. 5 mana, tap, exile, flip. Shiva, Warden of Ice, 4/5. First 2 chapters, target creature can't be blocked this turn. And then chapter 3, tap all lands your opponents control, exile Shiva, then return to the battlefield. So it gets to keep doing the thing. Oh, this is good. This is like a 3. Not a bomb, just a very solid 3-drop that gets value later on. Very nice. Every time Shiva does the 3rd chapter, not that you're generally going to get that far multiple times, gets to keep bouncing stuff, so it's a nice one. How is this name pronounced? Louis Wees. I'm going to go with Louis Wees, because that sounds great. Louis Wees Sacrifice. Blue instant as an additional cost. Sack a legendary creature or pay 2. Counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or non-creature spell. Okay, so let's just assume this costs 3. Counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or non-creature spell. 1. 1.5. Louisois. It's Louis. I've already canon Louis. Bad but fun name, Louis. The Lunar Whale, blue 3, 3/5 flying legendary artifact vehicle. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. I like where this is going. As long as it attack this turn, you may play the top card of your library. Whoa! Crew 1. Love it. 3.5. Maybe 3.75. Love it. 3/5 flying vehicle that only costs 1 to crew is great there. Yeah, love it. Good card. Probably close to a 4. Magic Damper, blue, instant, target creature control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn, untap it. So just shore up. 2. I generally play one of these cards in my decks, and especially if I have cards like the Whale to protect and stuff, but obviously not a very high pickup. And not something that's like extremely exciting. It's a good protection effect. Can be used as a combat trick. Matoya Archon Elder, blue 2, 1/4. Whenever you scry or surveil, draw a card. There are some scry surveil effects in the format. I don't think there are that many. I'm guessing this is probably like a 1.5, and maybe it turns into a 2.5 deck dependent, right? You really would need a decent number of scry/surveil effects, and ideally repeatable. So I know, but if you just have one of the pixies, this is still not a great card. You need to have multiple things. Okay, so turns out there are 0 Scry in the format and 12 Surveil. And how many of the Surveil are repeatable? Because if it's just like the 2-drop that's repeatable, I mean, I guess the flashback card, kind of. Yeah, this is... I'm going to say this is generally not going to be very good. You can make it good in your deck. It's probably, again, a scale range. Memories returning. Blue, blue, 2, sorcery, reveal top 5. Put 1 into your hand, then choose an opponent. They put 1 on the bottom. They put 1 on the bottom of your library, then you put 1 into your hand, then they put 1 on the... What? Oh, wait. So it's a 4-mana draw 3. You get to choose the best of it, put into your hand. They choose your next best, put on the bottom. Then you put... That's very good. Flashback 9. That card is sweet. I'm going to give it an above what it's probably worth rating of like 3. Or maybe even a 3.25. That's just a lot of value. Flashback is basically non-text. Although it will come up eventually. Or once in a while. But yeah. It's concentrate, but you've looked at more cards and you've gotten to choose. Yeah. I like that card. Maybe a 3 is fair. 3 is fair for a good card draw effect. The Prima Vista, blue 4, 5/3 flying vehicle. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn, and it accrues for 2. 2.25. Maybe flyers are like extremely good in the format. The crew is not very expensive. I think this is just okay though. Maybe like slightly above filler, but 2.25 at its best I think is fair. Keykern Merchant. Okay, pronunciation check there. Keykern. Keykern Merchant. Blue 2, 1/4. Pay 1 tap, loot. That's not bad. 7 sack it, draw 3. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each town you control. There are a lot of towns in the format. Common and uncommon. Probably some. There might even be some rare. Cheap looter. 4 toughness. No, this is above average. 2.5, 2.25. Actually, if I gave this a 2.25, this is a lot better. So maybe this is more like a 2 or a 1.75, and this is a 2.25. Keykern Merchant. I like it. Quistis Trape. Trape? What is that word? Trape. Quistis Trape. Blue 2, 2/2. Enters, you can cast target instant or sorcery from a graveyard. From a graveyard. That card's cool. That's not just your graveyard. A graveyard. I like that. You're not going to cast this very early generally unless there's like a 1 or 2 mana removal spell, but turn 6, 7, 8. I'm digging this. I'm going to give it a 2.75. The nice thing is, even if you don't have that many instants or sorceries in your deck, it's likely your opponent's going to have some, right? Realm Sketching, blue, blue 2, sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact, creature, or land. Nice. Great. I love this kind of clone effect. I imagine the vast majority of the time you're going to be... Well, yeah, it's going to be like 70% creature, 25% artifact, 5% land. That would be my guess. I'm going to give that a 3, though. I like clones. And you can copy your opponents. It's not just like your own. So, Realm Sketching. I think that's a decent uncommon. Retrieve the Esper. How long has it been? We're about an hour in and we're almost done with blue. Okay. I need to go faster because this is going to be a lot longer than the 2.5 hours than I thought at this rate. Or maybe we're right on track. I don't know. Retrieve the Esper. Blue 3 sorcery. Create a 3/3 blue robot token. Then if this spell was cast from a graveyard, put 2/1/1 counters on that token. So 4 mana, 3/3 artifact. And then a 6 mana, 5/5 artifact on one card. It's decent. It's a 2.5. We move on. Rook Turret, blue 3, 3/3 flying. Whenever another artifact you control enters, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Oh, that's good. That's very good, I think. Phantom monster at its base with an artifact upside, and then rummage. Oh, it's kind of like the koi fish. You got what's the called swimmer koi swimmer or something? Yeah. This card's good. 2.3. Sorry, 2.5, 2.75. Also, it is. If you squint and look upside down, it's kind of phallic. Sage's Noliths. Blue 1, artifact equipment, job select. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has whenever this creature attacks, untap target attacking creature and is a cleric in addition. And this one's whatever. This is like a 2. That's definitely phallic. Look at that thing. All right, anyway. Sage's Noliths. 2/1 that can untap a target attacking creature. Yeah, this is like a 2. Not great. Maybe filler, 2-drop. Sahagin. Blue 1, 1/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a 1/1 counter on this creature and it can't be blocked. There is that mana cost matters theme in the format. So it turns into a 2/4 for 2 if you've cast one bigger spell. I'm going to give it a 2.25. Assuming it's in the right deck, right? And it probably scales a little bit. Because if you can trigger it like twice, that's pretty decent. Yeah, the thing is, it's like a 1.25 up to like a 2.5 if you have a good deck for it. So Scorpion Sentinel, blue 1, 1/4. As long as you control 7 or more lands, it is a 4/4 artifact. 2 mana artifact creature for those synergies that can turn into a 4/4. It's probably still like a 2. Yeah, that doesn't turn into a 4/4 for quite a while. Side quest card collection, blue and 3 enchantment. When it enters, draw 3, then discard 2 at the beginning of your end step. If 8 or more cards are in your graveyard, transform it into magicked card. 4/4 flying vehicle, crew 1. Draw 3, discard 2 for 4 is like okay. 4/4 flying vehicle is like okay. I mean, it's good, but this is still not better than like a 2.25 IMO. Sleep Magic. 1 mana enchant creature aura. When this enters, tap enchanted creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. When enchanted creature is dealt damage, sacrifice this aura. That seems good. How many ways are there going to be to self-damage your creatures that you want to do, you know? And if they do self-damage their creature to untap it, then you've still gotten value. Am I reading that wrong? It's like a 2.75. Yeah, solid. Stolen Uniform. Blue instant. Choose target creature you control and target equipment. Gain control of that equipment until end of turn. Attach it to the chosen creature. When you lose control of that equipment this turn, if it's attached to a creature you control, unattach it. 1. 1.25. Maybe you sideboard that in and try to get cute. Garbage. Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Blue and 2, flash aura, enchant artifact or creature. When it enters, tap enchanted permanent, and then it doesn't untap, and its activated abilities can't be... Oh, so it's an arrest. It's an arrest for artifacts and creatures. Cool. Yeah. 2.5, 2.75. Decent. Summon Leviathan. Blue 4, 6/6. Enchantment creature saga. Return each creature that isn't a kraken, leviathan, merfolk, octopus, or serpent, or Klamas for short. Very easy to remember. Klamas for short, to its owner's hand. Second and third chapter, until end of turn, whenever a Klamas attacks, draw a card. Love it. I mean, it dies very quickly, but it's generally going to get you some value via either the bouncing effect or drawing the cards itself, right? Dece. I'd say that's Dece. 3? Probably not too much better than a 3.25 at max. All you got to do is Klamas. Summon Shiva. Blue 3, 4/5. 3 chapters. Tap target creature an opponent controls, put a stun counter on it for the first 2. And then the 3rd chapter is draw a card for each tapped creature opponent control. Oh, that card's nice. So, you play it on turn 1, you can attack with it on turn 2, and then it draws cards on turn 3. Yeah, this is like another 3. Pretty solid. 5 mana, double lockdown with some card draw. I'll give it a 3. Swallowed by Leviathan. Blue 2 instant. Choose target spell. Surveil 2, then counter the chosen spell unless its controller pays 1 for each card in your graveyard. Kind of like a cool circular logic. You get to surveil 2 on it. That's generally going to be good early and probably decent late. I mean, it's not a hard counter, but you get to surveil 2 in worst case scenario. Yeah, 2.25. Syncopate! Blue X, instant, counter target spell unless the controller pays X. If that spell is countered this way, exile instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. 1.75, maybe a 2. I don't like this type of counter in Limited. I'll play it, but I don't think they're generally that good. Thief's Knife. Blue 2, artifact, equipment, job select. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and it's a rogue. So it's a 3 mana 2/2. It's a Thieving Otter, or what have you. And it's 4 to equip. That's pretty expensive. And a 3 mana 2/2 is not generally going to get in very easily by itself. I mean, give it a 2. 2.1. It's okay. It's playable. Travel the Overworld. Blue 5 sorcery. Affinity for towns. Draw 4 cards. 6 mana for 4 cards is usually like pretty good in Limited. 7 for 4 is a little bit expensive. Now, you can definitely draft a bunch of towns in this format. We'll get to the lands eventually. So I think this is probably like a maybe 2-ish at maybe a 1.75. It's like it really depends on how many towns you have. Like if you have 2 towns and it costs 5 to draw 4, that's pretty good. But how many towns are you going to realistically draft, you know? Maybe say you have 5 towns. By the time that you get to the later stage of the game, maybe you've drawn 2, so I would give this a scale. If you're drafting the towns, maybe a 3. You know? Ultros, Obnoxious Octopus. Blue 1/2/1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun count on it. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 8 mana was spent to cast it, put 8 counters on Ultros. Look at that face. I like this card. At worst, it's a 2 mana 2/1, which is like a 1.5 in Limited. But the ability's decent. And the last ability is just funny. I'll give him a 2, maybe a generous 2.25. A generous 2.25. Valkyrie Aerial Unit. Blue 5, 5/4 artifact creature. Affinity for artifacts. When this enters, surveil 2. Ooh! This is probably going to be a beatdown in the artifact matter decks. Man, if you can cast this for 5 or less, it's just pretty disgusting. I'm willing to... like, obviously, in a lot of decks, you're never going to want to play... In some blue decks, it's going to be a 1. Nah, actually, even in non-artifact matter decks, it's probably still closer to a 1.5 or 1.75. And then in the artifact heavy decks, I'd be willing to give this a 3.25. 3.5 maybe. That's cool. I like it. Okay, another crystal. This one of the water variety. Blue spells you cast cost 1 less. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill that many +4. +4. 6 mana, each opponent mills cards equal the number of cards in your hand. 1.25. That's probably generous. Another one of those cool cards. Cool cards, but not good cards, you know? Y'shtola rules, blue 4, 3/5. At the beginning of your end step, exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. Then, if it's the first end step of the turn, there is an additional end step. So you get to double flicker. This card is really, really sweet. If you have enough ETBs, I think this card is nice. If you don't have any ETBs, this card just kind of maybe gives your creatures vigilance. 6 mana, 3/5. It's probably like a 2, honestly. Maybe a 1.5. How many ETBs have we seen? It's going to be really good in some decks, but you still require other creatures that do things, you know? So. Ultimecia Temporal Threat. Blue 4, 4/4. When it enters, tap. Oh, wait. I caught it. It says 500. Pass. Blue 2, 2/2 flying Death Touch. 3 to activate. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Draw a card. Yeah, it's good. 3 mana, 2/2 flying Death Touch with a nice card draw ability. Give that guy a 2.25 and say, nice man. Ari man. The Albed Salvagers, blue 2, 2/3. Oh wait, by the way, we have now moved into the black portion of the set review. Albed Salvagers, blue, black 2, 2/3. Whenever this or another creature or artifact you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. I like this card. This is going to be a very, very annoying drainer. I'm willing to give that a 2.5. 1 rating, you know, everybody knows the rules. 1 bite, everybody knows the rules, chat. Arden the Usurper, black 5, 4/4. Demons you control have Menace, Lifelink, and Haste. He's not a demon himself. However, at the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target creature card from a graveyard. If you exile the card this way, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 5/5 black demon, which is then going to have Menace, Lifelink, Haste. That card is kind of nuts. Triple black is disgusting, as in bad. So is the 8 total mana. However, unless they immediately kill it after you play it, you're going to get a 5/5 out of the deal, though the 5/5 might lose its Menace, Lifelink, Haste. But that card is quite good. I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 4. The mana cost is prohibitive, but it is very strong. Very strong. Black Mage's Rod. Black 1, job select, equip creature gets +1/+0, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent, and it's a wizard in addition to its other types. Equip for 3. Decent. Not exciting. 2.25. Cecil Dark Knight. Black for 2/3 Death Touch. When it deals damage, you lose that much life. Then if your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, so 10 or less, untap Cecil, transform it into the Redeemed Paladin. 4/4 lifelink. Whenever it attacks, other attacking creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. That's a very costly effect. But I think this is probably going to play out pretty well. I'm going to give it a 3. I think this is probably going to play out pretty nicely. And I mean, a 1 mana 2/3 Death Touch, you don't have to attack with it. And if it blocks something, sure, you're going to lose 2 life. But I think that's decent. Circle of Power. Black and 3 sorcery, draw 2, and you lose 2 life. Make one of those 0/1 wizards that whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. Wizards you control get +1/+0 and gain lifelink until end of turn. So this is a little bit of an awkward secondary effect. I don't know how many other just like non-token wizards there are in the format. I'm sure there are a decent number. But if you can cobble together a couple of the wizard tokens and then cast an additional number of non-creature spells in the turn, All right, let's just rate it on its base. Draw 2, lose 2, make one of those wizards. 2.5. I'm gonna be happy playing that in my decks. Cornered by black mages, black 1 sorcery, target opponent sacks a creature of their choice, and then you make one of those wizards. I'm guessing a sacrifice a creature of their choice is not that strong, but the added wizard that you get is decent. 2.25. There's so many tokens running around, whether they be heroes or otherwise. This is probably not that good. I like the effect of making the wizard, but... Hey, it's Bobby Boy! Dark Confidant is back. In Limited, it can be bad. I'm generally going to be playing this every time on turn 2 and whatnot, and just praying that we run well. I mean, average, you're not going to hit that much of a top end, presumably. Bob in Limited is what, like a 2 point... Is 2.5 too high? 2.25? I am rating out of 5, correct, yeah. That's where I'm sticking. I'm going to give it a 2.25-ish. I'm going to play it in my black decks. It's going to be awkward sometimes. It's going to hurt me too much sometimes. I mean, honestly, a lot of times you're not going to want to play this on turn 2. You're going to want to wait until a little bit later, I'd feel like. But anyway. Dark Knight's Greatsword, black 2, job select. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and is a knight in addition to its other types. Equip of pay 3 life, activate only once each turn. So it is a 4/1 knight for 3 with pay 3 life to activate. I like 0 mana equip costs. The 3 life is steep, but this is a card that can pressure pretty nicely. 2.5 might be too high. 2.25? I'm down for it. The black crystal here, the darkness crystal. Black 2, black spells you cast cost 1 less. If a non-token creature an opponent control would die, instead exile it and you gain 2 life. And then 6 mana tap, put target creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield tapped under your control with 2 additional 1/1 counters. Ooh. I think this is the best of the crystals we've seen so far for Limited. Because it definitely can have an immediate effect. Since creatures just trade off and whatnot. And the ability is kind of great. Even as the best of the crystals that we've seen, though, I don't think it's anything better than a 2.5. Maybe a 2.75. The non-token clause really hurts it. It's nice that you can get an effect immediately, but... I mean, we're all going to lose to this card at some point, but yeah. Demon Wall, black 1, 3/3 defender with menace. As long as this creature has a counter on it, it can attack as though it didn't have defender. And then for 6 mana, you put 2 1/1 counters on it. Oh, I like this. 2 mana 3/3 artifact defender, so artifact synergies early. And then in like first activation, it's a 5/5 menace. That's just a good early game play, I feel like. I'll give that a 2.5. Maybe even slightly higher. I'm not going to give it a 3, though. Evil Reawakened, black 4 sorcery. Return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 additional 1/1 counters. That's decent. Land Cyclers, right? Land Cyclers are a thing. Have we seen the Swamp Cycler yet? I don't remember what that one does. I'm give this a 2.75. I like that card. Fang Fearless. Is that an L? Lassie? Fang. Just go with Fang. Black 2, 2/3. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. Melds with Vanille. Turns into Ragnarok Divine Deliverance. 7/6 Vigilance, Menace, Trample, Haste. When it dies, destroy target permanent and return target non-legendary permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield. Alright, well, the card standalone does not look very good. I don't know how many ways you can get cards out of your graveyard, but this is probably like a 1.75 that you're going to play in the hopes that you can transform it, right? Fight on! Black 2 instant, return up to 2 creatures from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah. 2.25. Instant speed, double return is fine. Good even. The Final Days. Ooh, that's creepy. Black 2 sorcery. Create 2 tapped 2/2 black horror creature tokens. If this was cast from a graveyard, you make X of those tokens, where X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. Flashback is 6. This card is great. 4 mana for 2/2/2s. I'm willing to give this a 3. Maybe even a 3.25. I can see that flashback ending games very quickly. Gaius Van Baelsar. 2 mana, 2 black 2 for a 3/2. When it enters, you choose one of the modes. Each player sacks a creature token. Each player sacks a non-token creature, or each player sacrifices an enchantment. That looks very mid. That looks like a 2. Very mid to me. Hecht Eyes. Black 1/1/1. When this enters, each opponent discards a card. Ravenous Rats. 2. 2.1. I generally like Ravenous Rats, but they're never much. Jekt. Is it? Do you pronounce the J? Jekt. Reluctant Guardian. Black 3, 4/3 menace. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may exile it, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. Braska's Final Aeon. Hard J. It is a hard J. Okay. 7/7 menace. Each opponent discards a card, and you draw a card. And then, third chapter, each opponent sacrifices 2 creatures of their choice. Oh, that card's nice. Your opponent really can't let you connect with that, because then you're like 5 for 1ing them, and you hit them for 4. Turn 4 menace creature with 4 power? It's not like uber bomby, but it's like a 3.25, maybe a 3.5 at the top end. 3.25 feels good. It's a good card. Can you sack the Saga? What do you mean? Each opponent sacrifices 2 creatures of their choice. You don't sacrifice, it's just your opponent. Kane Traitorous Dragoon. I mean, it only attacks once as a 7/7, right? Black 2, 2/4, legendary. During your turn, it has flying. It's one of those knights. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of Kane. If they do, you draw that many cards, make that many tapped treasure tokens, then lose that much life. I don't like that. I mean, you're going to get first use of the treasures eventually, and the cards, presumably. I don't like that. I'm going to give that like a 1.5. I don't like that. Maybe, I mean, you get the first use of the stuff. Maybe a 2. Maybe I can give it a 2. It seems a little sus. Malboro, black 4, 4/4 with bad breath. When this enters, each opponent discards a card, loses 2, and exiles the top 3 of their library. Oh, here, okay, this is the Swamp Cycler. 6 mana, 4/4. Discard, lose 2, exiles top 3. That's decent. Yeah, what have I given all the land cyclers so far? Like a base 2.5? This is like a 3. 2.75. Always going to play it in your black decks. Not terrible when you're hard casting it. Definitely fine. Namazu Trader. Black 3, 3/4. When it enters, you lose a life, make a treasure. When this attacks, you can sack another creature or artifact if you do Surveil 2. 2.25. Looks a little bit better than Complete Filler, but not great. Ninja's Blades. Black 2, job select. Whenever equipped creature gets Equipped creature gets +1/+1, is a ninja in addition to its other types, and as whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. That player loses life equal to the discarded card's mana value. 3 mana 2/2 ninja with that ability. 2 to equip. 2.25. Probably just better than complete filler. It doesn't look that good to me. Overkill. Black 2 instant. Target creature gets -0, -9999 until end of turn. Just solid removal. Give it a 3. Phantom Train. Black 3, 4/4 trample vehicle. Sack another artifact or creature. Put a 1/1 counter on this. It becomes a spirit artifact in addition to other types until end of turn. So there's no regular crew cost. You have to sacrifice an artifact or a creature. But it is a big trampler that does get bigger. 2.5. I think it's better than complete filler. I don't think it's incredible, but it's not bad. Poison the Water, black 1 sorcery. Choose one. All creatures get -1/-1. So Nausea versus target player reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. That player discards that card. Not bad. Yeah. Both modes can be relevant. I mean, both modes can potentially be irrelevant, but this is a little bit better than your run-of-the-mill discard effect, I think. 2.25. I guess there are a lot of 1/1s in the format, but oftentimes they're going to be equipped or have gotten bigger otherwise. Yeah, 2.25 is fine, I think. Kutrub Forayer, black 2, 3/2 zombie. When this enters, choose one. Destroy a creature that was dealt damage this turn or exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Yeah. Definition of filler. Playable filler. 2. 2.1. Reno and Rude, black and 1 for a 2/1 menace, legendary human assassin. Whenever Reno and Rude deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library, then you may sack another creature or artifact. If you do, you may play the exiled card this turn, and mana of any type can be spent. This is going to be one of those cards that you really want to work a lot, but then when you deal damage with it, you're like, wait, do I really want to sacrifice something? I mean, you get to see what you hit first off of their library, but I don't think this is much better than filler. Another 2.1. Resentful Revelation. Black 1 sorcery. Look at the top 3 of your library. Put one of them in your hand and the rest into your graveyard with flashback. Yeah, that's fine. It's more fillerish. Maybe there's enough graveyard synergies to make this better. Maybe you have a bomb to dig to. Another 2.1. Definitely not as good as that blue Surveil 1 draw card with flashback. But it digs. Sephiroth Fabled Soldier. Black 2, 3/3. Human Avatar Soldier. Whenever it attacks or enters, you can sack another creature. If you do, draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. If this is the 4th time this ability has resolved, transform into the One-Winged Angel. 5/5 flying. As this transforms, you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Whenever it attacks, you can sack any number of creatures if you do draw that many cards. So let's think about it like this. A 3/3 Drainer, and that's for any creature, any other creature. And it has a card draw built into it, but you have to sacrifice creatures. Honestly, this is probably not that amazing in Limited. I am willing to give it a 3, but I don't think it's going to be that much better than that. 4 creatures dying in 1 turn is actually quite a task, I feel like. I'm going to give it a very generous 3, but I think this is going to look much better than it is, you know? Sephiroth's Intervention. Black 3, destroy a creature, you gain 2 life instant. Solid. 3. Honestly, I would probably rather have Intervention than Sephiroth. 2.75, 3. Shambling Seath. All right, pronunciation. Give me the codes. Give me the ways to pronounce this. Seath. Shambling Seath. Black 2, 3/3, enters tapped. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay a black. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, that's a good value one. Yeah, that's a 2.5er, 2.75er. Just solid. Annoying. Shinra reinforcements. Black 2 for a 2/3. When it enters, mill 3 cards, gain 3 life. Yeah, there's some self-mill / graveyard theme in the format, it would appear. Probably a nice role player. 2.25. 2.25. It's going to be like a 1.5 in a lot of decks, but 2.25 is, I mean, it has life gain. Is black-white the life gain? I only saw like black cards that cared about life, I thought. Side quest, Hunt the Mark. Black 3 enchantment. When it enters, destroy up to 1 target creature. Okay. Beginning of your end step, if a creature died under opponent's control this turn, create a treasure token. Then if you control 3 or more treasures, transform into Yaya's Mat, Ultimate Mark, 5/6 Legendary Dragon. Sack another creature or artifact. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. So 5 mana, kill a creature, get a treasure. Eventually, if 3 creatures have died from your opponent's side of things on your turn, you'll have enough treasures. Okay, I mean, it's a little bit difficult to flip it, but 5 mana, kill a creature, make a treasure. It's an enchantment, so you can probably bounce it a number of ways. 2.5. Just like solid, decent. Summon Anima, Black 4, 4/4 with 4 chapters. First 3 chapters are draw a card, lose 1 life. Pretty good. Oh, it's got Menace as well, by the way. Final chapter, each opponent sacks a creature of their choice and loses 3 life. Yeah, not bad. Not bad, not bad. So if it lives for 1 turn, it's turned into Phyrexian Gargantua, in a sense. 4/4 Menace. 2.75. I like it. A lot of value. Summon Primal Odin. Black 4, 5/3. Saga creature. Destroy target creature an opponent controls. 6 mana, 5/3. Kill a creature an opponent controls. That's nice. Second chapter. This creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. That player loses the game. All right. So a forced block or kill. It is only a 3 toughness creature at the end of the day. Final chapter. Draw 2 cards. Each player loses 2 life. Oh, that's good. That's funny because that'll hold back their creatures if they don't have removal, and then if that's the case, you can just draw 2 later on. That card's nice. 3.5. 6 mana, 5/3, kill a creature. 3.25. I'm ignoring the second chapter. It's like first and third chapters that are probably going to be relevant. Yeah, it's good. A lot of value. Tonberry, black for a 2/1, enters tapped with a stun counter. During your turn, this has first strike, death touch. Okay, that's kind of neat. He's got a knife. I'll give him a 2.1. He's probably a little bit better than your average filler card. Undercity Diarat, black 1, 2/2. When this dies, make a treasure. Okay, just solid filler. I'll just give it a 2. Happy 2-drop. Veins, Treachery, black 1 instance. Kicker, sack an artifact or creature. Oh, this is just a reprint of Final Flourish, right? Is it literally Final Flourish? I think it's literally Final Flourish, which is like a 2.5 removal spell, right? Maybe 2. Yeah, maybe 2.5 is generous. 2.25. Black 2, Vincent Valentine. Black 2, 2/2. Legendary Assassin. Whenever a creature opponent controls dies, put a number of 1/1 counters on Vincent equal to that creature's power. Whenever Vincent attacks, you can transform it. That's a quick transform into a 3/2 trample lifelink that when it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped. That's neat. Huh. Now remember, it gets 1/1 counters. So if you transform into this thing and it's got 3 counters on it, that's a 6/5. That's nice. This thing is just really annoying. Is this higher than a 3? I'd say at least a 3, right? I mean, 4 mana 2/2 initially is not very exciting, but I think that card's decent. I'm gonna give it a solid 3. Solid 3. Vincent's Limit Break, black and 1 instant with the tiered, so it has a couple of different modes, a few different modes. Until end of turn, target creature you control gains. When this creature dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, and has the chosen base power and toughness. And has the chosen base power. Okay, so it is a combat trick that turns your creature into a 3/2, 5/2, or 7/2 initially, and then when it dies, your creature is going to come back instead. So this can help you trade up, right? So for example, black and 2, your creature turns into a 5/2, which is presumably going to trade with most things, and then you get your creature back. 2? 2.2? It's fine. It's definitely fine. No way this is a 3.5. Unless you meant Vincent. Sure. Like I said, this is at least a 3. I'd see 3.5 on that. No, it's the other way around. For this card, it's making your creature a 3/2, a 5/2, a 7/2 before it dies, and then it comes back as its normal self. No, you're reading the card wrong. Xenos, yay, Galvis. Black, 3/4/4. When it enters, choose a creature an opponent controls. Until end of turn, creatures other than Xenos and the chosen creature get -2/-2. When the chosen creature leaves the battlefield, transform into Shinryu, Transcendent Rival. 8/8 flying. As this creature transforms, choose an opponent. When the chosen player loses the game, you win the game. Well, yeah, duh. Kind of a cool commander card, of course. Still good and limited. Still very good and limited. Not difficult to make that a 5 mana 8/8 flyer. And it's like a Infest stapled on. Yeah, this card's nice. This is 3.5. I like this card a lot. Maybe a 4. 4 is a little bit high, but definitely in that territory of things. Very good card. Zodiarch Umbral God. Black, 5/5 indestructible god. When it enters, each player sacrifices half the non-god creatures they control of their choice rounded down. Whenever a player sacks another creature, put a 1/1 counter on it. It's really good. It's just 5 black is really hard to cast. I will give it a 3 based on the effects, but it's really hard to cast. Maybe I should even go a little bit lower. 2.75. I mean, if you're playing a 2-color deck and you have, say, like a 9/8 split, you're still not hitting 5 black until pretty late generally. So far, we haven't seen that much fixing for like treasure productions and stuff. So I don't think it's unplayable. And it's still not bad if you're casting this on like turn 8, 9, 10, but it's like you're gonna have to be very, very heavy black to play this. Deadly Embrace, black 3, destroy a creature an opponent controls, then draw a card for each creature that died this turn. So base 5 mana, kill a creature, draw a card. But very frequently you can cast this like second main phase and draw a couple of cards. That's a good removal spell. That's a 2.75 removal spell, I'd say. Certainly a little bit above average. I mean, generally, I would say it's just drawing one card. But Seymour Flux, black 4/5/5, legendary spirit avatar. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card and put a 1/1 counter. Fantastic. So that to me is a 4. 5/5 that draws cards and gets bigger. Splashable. Card's great. No! 500 rating! No! Or whatever, collector number! Delete it from your memory. It's a 0.0. It's a 0.0 because it doesn't exist in the native set. Barrett Wallace, red and 3. Oh, we are now into the red section of cards. Red and 3, 4/4 reach. When it attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control the defending player. 4/4 reach at its base. 2.5. Probably real good in the equipment deck, but 2.5. And that's just because it's a 4/4 reach for 4. Blazing Bomb. Red for a 1/1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a 1/1 counter. Tap sack. Deals damage equal to its power to target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. That's fine. That's a 2.25. 2.25. 2. It's playable. It's not exciting. Sorcery speed only, I guess, hurts it a lot. Yeah, I'll give it a 2. Call the Mountain Chocobo. I like this card a lot. Red and 3. Sorcery. Search your library for Mountain, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. But also, you make a Chocobo. And it's got flashback. That's just a very nice value card. If you're casting it, then you already have, presumably, 5 of your 6 for flashback later on. I think that's a 2.5er. Easy. Easy, nice common. This card's also insane. Chocolate Comet. Red, red, X. X damage to any target. And then you make a birdie, bro. Worst case scenario, you get a bird for 2 red. Best case scenario, you're like killing your opponent. But like base scenario is like kill a creature, get a 2/2. This is like a 3.5. Only thing pulling it back is the double red cost, so it's not really splashable. Very good. Notably, the card I used to good effect in the latest Shuffle Up and Play. Clive, Ifrit's Dominant, red, red, 4, 5/5. When it enters, you can discard your hand, then draw cards equal to your devotion to red. So, presumably a minimum of 2, assuming they don't kill Clive in response. 6 mana, tap, flip him. What does he do? Ifrit, Warden of Inferno. 9/9. That kills a creature. On the first saga, or on the first chapter. Next 2 chapters, add quad red. If a Frit has 3 or more lore counters on it, oh, so it just adds a bunch of mana and then transforms back. 6 mana, 5/5. That's not bad. That's a 3 in my books. I don't think it's any higher than that. Certainly solid. Once you flip it, it's really good, but maybe a 3.25. I don't think it's a mega bomb. It's very good. The fact that you have to flip it to do it, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, presumably if it keeps flipping, it doesn't need to flip many times for you to win. All right, I'll give it a solid 3.25. No, wait, what did I say initially? 3? Yeah, 3.25. It's probably pushing up there. Coral Sword. Red for a flash equipment. When it enters, you can attach it to a creature you control, and that creature gains first strike. The equipped creature gets +1+0, and its equip is 1. That's a decent combat trick. It's a combat trick that sticks around, but is not susceptible to a removal spell like an Aura is. That's a 2.25. Just a little bit better than filler equipment, I'd say for sure. Fire Crystal. The red crystal gives your creatures haste and create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Sack it at the beginning of the next end step, in addition to the normal spell reduction cost. Again, maybe a 2. Creatures you control have haste is nice, but And the token is a strong effect. It's just... I don't think the crystals are going to be something that you generally want to play in limited. You know? I've been very generous with the crystals on my rating. I don't think they're that good. I just want them to be good, which is why I'm giving them like a playable rating. Fire Magic. Red tier. This is a really nice one. So for 1 red, you can deal 1 damage to each creature. Okay, whatever. For 3 mana, you can deal 2 damage to each creature. Okay, that's decent, especially, again, instant speed. And for 6 mana, you can deal 3 damage to each creature. This is a nice trick. This is a 2.5er. Very solid red card, I'd say. Furion, a Wild Rose Warrior, red 2, 3/3. Equipped creatures you control have haste. Whenever a non-token equipment you control enters, create a token that's a copy of it, except it has this equipment's equip abilities, cost 2 less to activate, sacrifice that token. This is whatever. This is constructed. There is going to be an equipment deck in the format, but even still, I don't think this is going to be that good. Like 2.25. It's probably like it's probably like a 2, just base. And then if you have like a good equipment deck, maybe it's a 2.5, you know? Maybe, I mean, in a good equipment deck, maybe it's like a 3. But Freya Crescent, red for a 1/1. During your turn, it has flying, and then you can add red, but only spend that mana to cast an equipment or activate an equipment ability. So, again, in the same deck that you want Furion, you want the Freya. And in that deck, this is probably like a 2.5, right? Or a 3. But everywhere else, it's a red flying men on your turn. It's like whatever. So, very deck dependent, but only one deck really wants this, right? Just so if you're going to draft Boros aggro every time, then great. These cards are right up your alley. Gilgamesh Master at Arms, another one that is very equipment dependent. 6/6, whenever it enters or attacks, look at the top 6 of your library. You can put any number of equipment cards from among them on the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. When you put one or more equipment on the battlefield this way, you may attach one of them to a samurai you control. You need to have quite a few equipment in your deck for this. But if you do, it's very good. Again, a very good card for the equipment deck, you know? A very good card for the equipment deck. Everywhere else, it's going to be a 6 mana 6/6 for the most part. So, a 1.5, man, maybe a 6 mana 6/6 is like a 1.75. But in the right Boros deck, you're going to sometime, like, in this format, eventually somebody's going to play this. They're going to hit like 4 equipment, 2 of them with job select, and you're just going to be like, oh my god, what just happened? But that is the high roll scenario, you know? Haste Magic, red 1, instant, give a creature +3/+1 in haste until end of turn, then exile the top card of your library. You may play it until your next end step. Your next end step, yeah. It's a fine combat trick. It's like a 2. Fine. Hill Gigas. Red 4, 5/4 trample haste with mountain cycling. Hey, this is a good one too. This is one of the better land cyclers we've seen. 2.75? 2.5? 2.5, I mean, I'm always going to play it in red. It's decent. It's nice. Item Shopkeep. Red 1/2/2. Whenever you attack, target attacking equipped creature gains menace until end of turn. Again, role player for the equipment deck. Otherwise, it's a 2 mana 2/2. So, complete filler 1.5 otherwise, but in the right deck, maybe it's a even in the equipment deck, only giving menace doesn't seem that good. Giving menace maybe makes it like a 2.2 in that deck, you know? Laughing Mad, red and 2 instant as an additional cast. Discard a card, draw 2, flashback. Solid. Nothing crazy. If this is like a 1.5, this is probably a fine filler 2. Give it a 2 out of 5. Light of Judgment, red and 4 instant, deals 6 damage to a creature. Destroy up to 1 equipment attached to that creature. Yeah, suck it, other red decks. Instant speed, 6 damage, 5 mana, 2.25. If you blow up an equipment in addition, you are jumping for joy. If nothing else, decent sideboard, but 5 mana, 6 damage instant is okay. Mycetian Elder, red 2/1/3, that when it enters, you make one of those pingy wizards. Yeah, it's like a 2. 2.25. That's also fine. Not exciting, but it's fine. 2 bodies for 3 mana, one of them relevant. I mean, yeah, that's fine. Nibelheim of Flame, red 2 sorcery. Choose target creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to each other creature. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, discard your hand, draw 4. Oh, we got the Chandra's Ignition back. Except this only does it to creature, not player. And then flashback, same ability, but draw 4. It's one of those very swingy type of cards. Again, high ceiling, low floor. I'll just give it a perfectly average 2/5 as a result. Sometimes it's going to be uncastable or be terrible if you can cast it. Other times it's going to like win you the game, right? So just give it an average score of 2.5 because of that. There are going to be a lot of times where it's very awkward. Opera Love Song. Red and 1. Choose one. Exile top 2 of your library. You can play those cards until your next end step. 1 or 2 target creatures each get +2/+0 until end of turn. Yeah, that's totally reasonable. 2.25. That's probably just a little bit better than filler. Prompto Argentum. Red 1/2/2 haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, create a treasure token. Yeah. 2.25. Slightly above average red 2-drop. Nothing exciting. Totally reasonable. Queen Queen Brawny. Red 2/2/1 prowess. Whenever it attacks, create an whenever it attacks, you get one of those wizards. Problem is, it's a 3 mana 2/1. Yes, it has prowess. This can take over the game pretty easily. I'm willing to give this a 2.5. It's better than a 2. Yeah, 2.5 seems fine. 2.5 is a crazy rating for what? This card? There are going to be times where it's garbage. There are going to be times it's great. Again, I'm giving it the average. It's so random encounter. Red 4. Shuffle your library. Mill 4. Put each creature milled this way onto the battlefield. They gain haste. At the beginning of the next end step, return those creatures to their owner's hand. This is a 1. However, I will want to play this a lot and hope that it hits. This is a card you should not play, I am guessing, right? But if you do play it and you do hit, then it's super cool. No, if the creature dies, then it just stays in the graveyard. You don't get to return it as well. What? Yeah, this is an easy one. Easy one, but tons of fun. Raban Bowl of Ala Mihigo. Red 1/2/2. Ward with pay life equal to its power. Whenever it attacks, attach up to 1 target equipment you control. Again, another red attach equipment card. 2.1. 2 a 2 that gets good if you're running the equipment deck, but by good it's like a 2.5, you know? So I guess it's a 1.5 that can turn into a 2.5. That's my rating. Red Mage's Rapier. Red and 1. Job select. Equipped creature has. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +2/+0 and is a wizard, and the equip cost is 3. 1.5. 1.25. This one's not very good. IMO. A 2-mana 2/2 with upside is a 1.5. It's very light upside, and like I said, it scales up to a 2.5 if you have equipment. So Sabo Tender, red and 1 for a 2/1 with reach. Whenever a land you control enters, this deals 1 damage to each opponent. Yeah, that's just a classic 2. I would much rather have Sabo Tender than Raban. Maybe even in the equipment decks, honestly. I mean, I'd play this in the equipment decks for the synergy and for funness, but this is just a decent 2-drop, you know? Very annoying 2-drop. Samurai's Katana, red 2, job select, equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has trample haste and is in a so it's a 3-mana 3/3 trample haste, but the equip is 5. But that's solid. 2.25, 2.5. Yeah, not bad. Expensive equip, but strong equip ability. Sandworm, red 4, 5/4 haste. When it enters, destroy target land. Just destroy target land. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So, a lot of towns in this format. A lot of fixing. You can screw people over by blowing up a duel. This is a 5/4 haste at the worst case scenario. You can also fix yourself, in a sense. You can destroy one of your own lands and get a different basic. 2.5? I think that's fair for the Sandy Worm. Landfall trigger for your Chocobos? Yeah, easy. Safer Almazi. Red and 3, 3/4. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike until end of turn. Okay. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may cast an instant or sorcery with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile. That's not bad. Curve into that on turn 4 and attack with like a random 3/3. Gains double strike. 2.75. Maybe a clean 3. Yeah, that's decent. Cypher. Cypher Almazi. There you go. Self-destruct. Red and 1 instant. Target creature you control deals X damage to any other target and X damage to itself, where X is its power. Oh, this was the cactus combo card. X damage to any target and X damage to itself. So actually, if you have a creature that has a toughness greater than its power, it doesn't have to blow itself up. You can shoot face with this. I'm going to give it a 2.25. I think it's above average. It's cool. It's unique. Side quest, play Blitzball. Red and 2, at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. End of combat on your turn, if a player was dealt 6 or more combat damage, transform this attachment, then attach it to a creature. World Champion Celestial Weapon. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has double strike. Equip 3. If your opponent's taken 6 damage on a turn, they're probably losing anyways. I don't think this card's that great. I don't think +2/+0 by itself is good enough. I will inevitably lose to this card, I'm sure. But I'm going to give this like a 1.75. I think it's probably a little bit below average for sure. Feels bad to me. Sorceress's Schemes. Red 3 sorcery. Return an instant or sorcery from your graveyard or exiled card with flashback you own to your hand. Add a red, and it's got flashback. That's cool. That's really neat. It's not great. It's probably bad. But I'm going to give it a 2 because I like this type of card. I mean, it is value. Yeah, it's probably like a 2-ish. It says exiled card with flashback you own, so no. Summon Brynhildr. Red and 1 for a 2/1 saga creature. First Chapter, exile the top card of your library. During any turn you put a lower counter on this saga, you may play that card. And then the second and third chapters are when you next cast a creature spell, it gains haste. Just a very solid 2-drop. Like, very happy. Like, sometimes it draws you a card. Other times it might not be anything more than a 2-1, but it's better than a 2. Maybe a 2.5 is generous, but it's above average 2-drop, you know? Well, but that's the thing. It probably replaces itself with the first chapter. So even though it dies after 3, I think it's still fine. Summon Esperama. Red 2, 3/3. Deals damage equal to the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard to target creature and opponent controls. And then second and third chapter of wizards you control get +1/+0. Okay, so a nice later game Flame Tongue Kavu of sorts. That's a 2.5er. I think the second and third chapters aren't very relevant, but 4 mana, 3/3, shoot something, and then stick around for a turn or two. It's fine. Ramu. Summon Girlfriend Cerberus. Red 2, 3/3. Chapter 1, Surveil 1. Chapter 2, when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it. You may choose new targets. Chapter 3, when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it twice. Love this card. Gotta love a Girlfriend Cerberus. I'm gonna give that a 3. A generous 3. It's probably closer to like 2.75. Maybe a 2.5. It's definitely above average. But man, if it sticks around and you get to utilize the second and third chapters, ooh, that's spicy. Summon Girlfriend Ifrit. Man, so many girlfriends. Red 2 for a 3/2. Chapters 1 and 2, you get to rummage. Chapters 3 and 4, it adds a red. Yeah, just a decent 3-drop. Sticks around for a little while as well. It's not like a 3-chapter. Yeah, 2.25, above average. It even says, not bad, on the card. It's not bad. Suplex! Red 1, sorcery, 3 damage to a creature. If that creature would die, exile it, or exile target artifact. Classic, decent removal, 2.5. Thunder Magic, red instant with the tiered. So for 1 red, you can deal 2 damage to a creature. For red and 3, you can deal 4 damage to a creature, so electrify. And then red 5, 8 damage to a creature. Just a nice removal. That's another 2.5er. Easy. Maybe even a little bit higher. Good removal. Triple Triad. Red 3, enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player exile the top card of their library. Until end of turn, you may play the card you own exiled this way, and each other card exiled this way with lesser mana value than 1. 1.25 because I want it to be. I'm gonna play this, but it's like a 1.25. Oh, sorry, it's like a 1, rather. But I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna hope it does something. Unexpected Request. Red and 2, sorcery. Gain control of target creature on turn, untap it. If it gains haste, you can attach an equipment you control to that creature if you do unattach it at the beginning of the next end step. 1.5. Have we seen that many sacrifice effects in the format? Is this just like active treason with small upside? Active treason effects are usually not very good standalone. That's bad. Vaughn Street Thief, red and 2, 2/2. Whenever one or more scouts, pirates, rogues you control deal combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You may cast it if you don't make a treasure. Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, put a 1/1 counter on each scout, pirate, rogue. I don't know how many scout, pirate, rogues are in the format, but it's a 3 mana 2/2. It's annoying. I don't think it's good. At its best, yeah, I'm only going to give this a 2. This is one of those cards that, sure, There are going to be games where you play it on 3 and your opponent doesn't have anything, but you were probably winning that game anyways. Same vice versa. Maybe your opponent plays this and they have 1 removal spell, or you don't have anything, but like you still have to hard cast the card, otherwise you only get a treasure. It's not that good. Warrior Sword, red 3 artifact with job select. Equip creature gets +3/+2 and is a warrior, so it's a 4 mana 4/3, and then it has equip 5. It's still like a 2. It's fine. It's not good. It's playable. It's not good. Dinched. Red 2/03. You can play an additional land on each of your turns. Gets +1/+0 for each land you control. At the beginning of your end step, return a land you control to its owner's hand. I don't think that's good. There probably are some cool bounce effects, but this feels like more of a constructed card. I'm going to say this is like a 1.1. Maybe you have some cool land bounce abilities, but I would not want to play that card. But it's not a 3 mana 3/3. Okay, say you play this on turn 3 and you do have an additional land. You bounce one at end of turn. Sure, it's a 3/3 that turn, right? But then you need 2 more lands. I don't know. No, this is bad. That's not true. You could be down land. If you don't have an additional land drop that turn, and you have a normal land drop, then you have to bounce it at end of turn. Yes, it re-triggers landfall, but I mean, I guess if you have mono chocobos, this could be good. I don't think this is good, though. I'm sure I will lose. I'm going to lose to every single card in this format, even if I gave it a 0. How about this? I'll settle for 1.5, and that's being generous. Judgment Bolt. Red and 3 instant. 5 damage to target creature, and X damage that creature's controller, X the number of equipment you control. So red 3, 5 damage to a creature at its base, and then maybe you can ping your opponent for a couple damage. Yeah. A solid 2.75. 2.5. Always going to play it. Lightning Security Sergeant. Red 2, 2/3 menace. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control lightning. Oh, that card's neat. 2.5, above average. I mean, it's small, but it has menace. No! Collector or something card. I got ruined. Oh, wait. Both of these were 500s. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. All right. On to green we go. Womp womp. All right. So those were not actually part of the set. Airship Crash. Green 2, instant, kill a creature, or sorry, kill an artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying with cycling 2. I love these type of cards. I always play them. Cycling makes it good, and then versatility. 2.25, 2.5. Always love them. Ancient Adamantoise. Green 5 for an 8/20. Vigilance Ward 3. Damage isn't removed from this creature during your cleanup steps. All damage that we dealt to you and other permanents you control is dealt to this creature instead. When it dies, exile it and make 10 tapped treasure tokens. This card is really, really cool. It's not actually all that feasible, I feel like, but it is very, very cool. I will give it a very generous 2.25. A very generous 2.25. It's very cool. It's very cool. Coolness factor. Balam T. Rexasar, green 4. Oh, yeah, this is the insane one. Green 4, 6/6 trample. When it enters, gain 3, but wait, forest cycling. Easy 3. Easy, minimum 3. This is a disgusting forest cycler. Easy. So good. Yeah, easy base 3. It's probably higher. This is the best of the land cyclers. Easy. Bard's Bow. Green 2, job select, equip creature gets +2/+2, has reach. So it's a 3/3 reach for 3. That is a very expensive equip cost. 2.25? 3/3 reach for 3. Equip 6 expensive, but it makes it better for sure. Bartz and Boko. Green 3. Whoa. Green 3, 4/3. Affinity for birdies. Enters each other bird you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. Very nice. You need to have a bird. And probably more than one. But that's not going to be too hard. Presumably, because you're going to be playing green. So, because you're likely to have a decent number of birds, I'm going to give this a 3.25. Because I assume it's just going to be a base 4 mana 4/3 kill something. You're not always going to be able to play it to good effect, but it's strong enough that I'm willing to give it a decent rating, you know? How many birds? I'd play this with like 3 birds, 4 birds. Worst case scenario, it's a 5 mana 4/3, which, yes, it sucks, but the upside is there, you know? Blitzball shot. Green 1 instant. Creature gets +3/+3, gains trample. Classic 2. Classic power level 2 trick. It's fine. Cactua. Green 3/3 trample. Beginning of your end step. If this didn't enter the battlefield this turn, return it to its owner's hand. 2.1. 2.2, maybe. It's like okay. It's going to be annoying. It's not busted. It's probably slightly above average. Chocobo Kick. Green 1 sorcery. Kicker with return a land you control to its owner's hand, which is nice for the Chocobo. Landfall triggers. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. If the spell was kicked, the creature you control deals twice that much damage instead. Easy 2.5. Nice punch effect. Chocobo Racetrack. Green 3. Landfall. Make one of the birdies. I think this card is fantastic. Yes, it costs 5. So it's a little bit slow to get going, but if you can trigger it more than once, you're sitting pretty good. I'm happy to give this a 3. Love this card. Very happy with it. Clash of the Icons. Green for a sorcery. Choose one or more. Target creature you control fights target creature and opponent controls. Remove a lore counter from target saga you control. Put a lore counter on target saga you control. Okay. Not bad. Probably going to be a 1 mana fight the majority of the time, but you can get some nice value with the extra modes potentially. Yeah, give it a 2.25. Fights are obviously not as good as punches for the most part, but yeah, I think that's above average. Yeah, maybe it's it's only 1 mana. Colosseum Behemoth. Green 5. 7/7 trample. When it enters, choose one. Kill an artifact or enchantment / draw a card. That's a big boy. 7 mana? 2.25? 2.5? It's above average. It's expensive, but big body with relevant ability. Can't say no to that. Commune with the Beavers. Green for sorcery. Look at the top 3. Can reveal an artifact, creature, or land. Put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. You're very unlikely to brick on this card, I would think, if you're playing it. And generally, this type of card is better than you think it is. So, yeah, another 2.25 at least, I'd say. Yeah, I'm gonna cast this card, and I'm gonna hit 3 sorceries, and I'm gonna never play this card again. But they were probably the only 3 sorceries in your deck, you know? Diamond Weapon. Green 7. Legendary artifact. 8/8 reach. Costs 1 less for each permanent in your graveyard. Prevent all combat damage that we've dealt to Diamond Weapon. I like it. We've seen some ways to self-mill. At what casting cost is this insane? Probably 6 or less. So you would need 3 permanents in your graveyard? I mean, I guess it doesn't have trample. It is an artifact, so it can die to the artifact matters. Maybe this is not better than a 2.5. I feel like a 3 would be way too generous. 4? No way. No way that's a 4. I've put bombs at 4. I am willing to give it a 3, maybe. I mean, sure, with land cyclers it's cheaper, but you have to spend their turns land cycling then. I'll stick with a 3. I'm not going to give it any higher than a 3. Oh, you're talking about the mana cost. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's solid. I don't think it's crazy. All right, here's the green crystal. Green, 2. The green spells are 1 less. If one or more 1/1 counters would put on a creature, you control twice that many, and then distribute 2, so effectively 4, among 1 or 2 target creatures you control. Again, the crystals, man, they're very strong abilities, but for the most part, I don't think you want to be playing them unless you're just trying to have a little fun, especially like the mill one. I will. This is just a very generous 2. It's probably closer to 1, just like all of the other. The majority of the Earth crystals are like 1s. Let's be real. I like this effect. It's powerful, but that's just so much mana. It's 10 mana to invest initially, you know? Esper Origins. Green 1 sorcery, surveil 2, gain 2. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, exile it, then put it on the battlefield transformed with a finality counter. Flashback is 4. Turns into a 4/4 that reveals the top card of your library. If it's a permanent, put it in your hand. Adds 2, and then it gives your... Oh, this card's great. You don't get the 4/4 for very long, but man, it's just all value. Surveilling 2 is kind of like drawing a card, but it has flashback, and it turns into a 4/4. No, I like that. Solid 2.5. I like this more than I like the diamond weapon. They're probably comparable. Galif's Final Act. Green 1. Instant. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains. When this creature dies, put a number of 1/1 counters equal to its power on up to 1 target creature. Oh, that's kind of neat. That's a very unique trick. 2.25. I'm better than a 2. I like this trick. That seems cool. It's just a very unique effect, which is why I don't think we've seen this type of effect very often, you know? Gigantode. Green 3, 4/4. As long as you control 7 or more lands, it's a 6/6. 4/4 base. 4/4 base for 4 in limited. 2.25 maybe? 2? Maybe it's just filler. Maybe a vanilla 4/4 for 4 until you get to 7 or more lands is not good enough to rate better than a 2 in limited, which is, again, passable. Nothing exciting. Goobu Gardener. Green 1, 1/3 plant beast that adds a green. I love this type of card. Love this type of card. I'm going to give it a generous, maybe 2.5, but that's my type of 2-drop. It's better than a 2. 2.5 is probably high, but I like this card a lot. Grand Pulse Ochu. Green for a 1/1 death touch. 8 mana. Until end of turn, this creature gets +1/+1 for each permanent in your graveyard. That's not bad. I don't know how good a 1/1 Death Toucher is going to be in this format, but in some formats, 1/1 Death Touchers are reasonable. 8 is a lot of mana, but that just means this card is relevant early and relevant late. Yeah, he's like a happy 2.25, you know? Gaisal Greens. Green 1. Oh, this is nice. Just make a Chocobo, and then expensive flashback, yes, but what do you want from your 2-mana spell? Yeah, just a solid 2-drop. 2.25, 2.5. Whatever it is, it's better than a 2. The Jumbo Cactuar. Green, green 5, 1/7. Whenever this attacks, it gets plus 9999 plus O until end of turn. I'll give it a generous 2.2. You're probably better off playing other things, but this is cool. It's a cool card. Yeah, it combos with that one red spell we looked at earlier. A 2.19999. Loporit Scout. Green 2, 3/2. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Yeah, it's filler. 2. Fine filler. Prish's Wanderings. Green 2 instant. Search your library for a basic land or town. Put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. When you search your library this way, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. I like this. It's instant speed, ramp, /fixing, /combat trick, /landfall trigger. I think this is above average for this type of card, especially in this format. Like, this is a 2.25. A 2.25 ramp effect. Queena Q Gourmet. Green 2, 2/3. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a 1/1 green frog are made instead. Sack a frog, put a 1/1 counter on this. Okay. Quite a few tokens in the format. Another above average creature, I would say. 2.25. Maybe even a 2.5. It's decent. I guess if I gave this a 2.25, this is probably a 2.5. I like it. Reach the Horizon. Green 3, search your library for up to 2 basic lands in our towns with different names. Put on the field, tap, then shuffle. See, this is the type of card I love, and then every time I play it, I'm just going to die to somebody going like 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, while I go over here like 3 mana spell, ramp. Oh wait, I'm dead. Depending on how fast or slow this format is, I think this could be upwards of a 2.5, you know? 2 to a 2.5. Depends on speed. A Realm Reborn. Green, green 4 enchantment. Other permanents you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. A beautiful, beautiful 0. But it's really cool. Ride the Shupoof. Green 1 enchantment. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. And then this can turn into a 7/7 for 7 mana. I dislike this type of card, but it's nice that it becomes relevant later. I still think I only want to give it a 2, maybe a 2.25. It doesn't feel that good to me. It does, but again, it'll be a card I lose to a lot. But I don't like this card a lot. You can prove me wrong on the streets of Arena. Rydia's Return. Green, green 3. Choose one. Creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn, or return up to 2 target permanents from your grave to your hand. Oh, that's a good value. Yeah, easy 2.25. Not overrun. You don't get trample, but you can also just turn it into double regrowth. Yeah, good value. Saz Katzroy, green 3, 3/3. When it enters, you can search your library for a bird or basic land, reveal it, put it in your hand. Then, whenever it attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, then double the number of 1/1 counters on that creature. This is nice. 4 mana, 3/3. Draw a card that can attack as a 5/5 the following turn, or pump up some other stuff that already have counters and stuff. 3.5, easy. Maybe a 4. Card's great. Very good. It does take a little while to get going, right? It's not always going to be able to attack profitably, but it always gets to tutor if it resolves. Yeah, it's pretty bomby. Saz's Chocobo! Green 01. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on this. Love this card. Obviously, complete garbage when you draw it in the later stages of the game. but if you have it early, it does pop off. I mean, I'm going to play it in every green deck. I'm going to give it a minimum 2.5. Again, this is one of those cards. I'll give it a 2.5. I think it's definitely above average. It's going to be very awkward sometimes, but I'm happy. I'm happy with it. Side quest, raise a chocobo. Green 1 enchantment, makes a birdie. And then at the beginning of your first main, if you control 4 or more birds, it flips into the black chocobo, which is a 2/2. Search your library for land, put on the battlefield tapped. So at its base, it's the 2/2 chocobo. 4 birds is a lot. And it doesn't trigger until your first main phase. Or rather, it triggers on your first main phase, so you can't... You have to wait a full turn after having 4 birds. At 2.25. It's without the second ability, it's a 2. You know, 2 mana make a chocobo is like fine. It's filler. With the small upside, sure, I'm willing to raise its stats a little bit just because the possibility. The Fat Chocobo! Green 4, 4/4. When it enters, you make a 2/2. That's great for the first chapter. So 5 mana for a 4/4 and a 2/2 chocobo. And then the second, third, and fourth chapters are giving your creatures trample, including itself, until end of turn. Oh, this card's really good. Really nice common. I'm happy giving this a 2.5, maybe even 2.75 for a common. Like, that's nice. Oh, did I read that incorrectly? The black chocobo pumps all your birds? Oh, right. Even still, again, this card, it's difficult to flip, so I'm still fine just giving it a 2.25. Yeah, going back to the Fat Chocobo. Real solid common. Summon Fenrir, green 2, 3/2. When it enters, search your library for a basic land, put on the battlefield. Oh, it ramps. It's a ramp already. Chapter 2, when you cast a creature spell this turn, that enters with an additional 1/1 counter. And then the third chapter, so this is going to die. Draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest power. That's really good. That's really good. 2.75, maybe even a 3 quality. Card seems really nice to me. What do you mean it doesn't die anymore? The sagas definitely die unless they specify otherwise. Summon Titan, green 3, 7/7 saga creature. Chapter 1, so the turn that you play it, mill 5. Chapter 2, return all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And Chapter 3, until end of turn, another target creature you control gains trample and gets +X, where X is the number of lands you control. It's got reach and trample itself. This card's great. Presumably, if you've cast this, then the final chapter is going to give at least +5/+5. 3.5? Yeah. I mean, it only gets to attack once, but it's going to end the game real quickly between itself attacking for 7 once and the final pump ability, I feel like. Summoner's Grimoire. Green 3, job select. Equip creature as a shaman. Whenever this creature attacks, you can put a creature from your hand on the battlefield. If that card is an enchantment, it enters tapped. Oh, that's cool. Not good, but cool. Very strong effect, but it is... I'm going to lose to this card a lot. I don't think it's that good. I mean, the nice thing is you don't mind chump attacking the hero that gets equipped with this. No, actually, this might be okay. This might be okay. You know what? I'm going to give this a 2.5. I'm going to draft this card, and it's inevitably going to be terrible for me. But man, the upside is so sweet. Green has a lot of chonk, so I'm going to give this a 2.5. I think this card is neat. Tifa Lockhart. Green 1/1/2 trample, landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, double it. 1.5. Easy 1.5. Maybe even a 1. This is not a card you generally want to play unlimited. Even if you have ways to get ramp outs, this is not good. If you're questioning why this is a 1, I implore you to just read the card again. Tifa's Limit Break, green tiered card. So for 1 green, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. 3, double target creature's power and toughness. Or 8, triple target creature's power and toughness. I love this trick. This trick is really sweet. I'm going to give it a 2.5. Tifa's Limit Break, 5 times better than Tifa. Torgal, a Fine Hound, green 1/2/2. Whenever you cast your first human creature spell each turn, that creature enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it for each dog and or wolf you control. It's a wolf itself. And it adds 1 mana of any color. Classic, great 2-drop. This is a 3 for me. Easy. It's not a bomb, it's just a fantastic, fantastic 2-drop. Love it. Town Greeter, green and 1 for a 1/1 enter, mill 4, then you can put a land from among the milled cards in your hand. If you put a town into your hand this way, you gain 2 life. These cards are fine. 2.25. I think they're generally better than average filler, but they're not that exciting. I mean, we saw the diamond card, you know, so that's like that can fuel the diamond card and stuff. Traveling Chocobo, green 2/3/2. You can look at the top of your library anytime. You can play lands and cast birds from the top of your library, and if a land or bird you control entering the battlefield causes a trigger ability by a permanent, you control the trigger that ability triggers an additional time. Nice! You don't need many birds for this to be good, right? You can still play the lands off the top of your library, and if you do have a bunch of birds, I think this is a 2.5er. 2.75. I mean, it's going to get better and better the more birds you have, but a lot of the birds in the format are created by non-bird cards, you know? But it's above average. Vanille, okay, here's the other side of the Fang card, or the other half of the Fang card. This is a 4-mana 3/2. When it enters mill 2, then return a permanent from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, that one's a lot better than the black one. And then it, again, flips into Ragnarok. So if you can flip into Ragnarok, that's awesome. But this half is so much better than the Fang half. 3/2, mill 2, then return a permanent. So graveyard synergies, recursion. 2.5. Just a good card, huh? Okay. Okay. Sorry. Poor baby. Always crying on drop-off. Absolute Virtue. Blue, white, 6, 8/8, legendary, can't be countered, flying. You have protection from each of your opponents. You can't be dealt damage, enchanted, or targeted by anything controlled by your opponents. Card's pretty beastly. Until they deal with this, they cannot kill you. It is very expensive. It's also an 8/8 flyer. I don't want to give this a 4. A 3.5? Maybe 4 is fine. I don't know, man. I guess it's a 4. And it's an 8/8 flyer, and if it's on the battlefield, they have to deal with it. No way this is higher than Choco. I don't know, like I still don't know how fast this format's gonna be. Like, clearly this is very strong. They just remove it? I mean, that's true about any creature. Dies to removal! Right? Like, if they can't get rid of it, you win, basically. I'm fine with the 3.5. It's very good. It is a classic bomb. Quote, you can still be attacked and damage is dealt. You can't be dealt damage, enchanted, or targeted by anything controlled by your opponents. Who's reading this wrong? Sid, Timeless Artificer. Blue, white, 2, 4, 4. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each Artificer you control. An Artificer card in your graveyard. A deck can have any number of Sids and has cycling. It's cool. Blue-white artifacts? I guess in a blue-white artifact deck, it's a Lord as well? Yeah, I'll give it a 2.25. Hope Estime. Blue-white 2/2 lifelink. Beginning of your end step, each opponent mills X, where X is the amount of life you gained. 2/2 lifelink, basically. Again, there is that lifelink theme in the format, so I'm sure somebody, including myself, is going to get milled out eventually by this card, but I give it a 2. 2.1, because it has lifelink. Titus Blitzball Star. White, blue, 1, 2/1. Whenever an artifact you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on Titus. Whenever a Titus attacks, tap target creature and opponent controls. Oh, I like this. And give it a 2.25. Decent artifact matters card. Probably a little bit above average, right? No, I think it's above average. One artifact, it's a 3/2. It's a tapper on attacks. Titus? Titus? Okay. Well, that's how you know I didn't play the games. Emmett Selch Unsundered. Black, blue, 1, 2, 4. Vigilance. Enters or attacks, you loot once. Beginning of your upkeep, if there are 14 or more cards in your graveyard, you may transform. Hades, Sorcerer of Eld, 6/6 Vig. During your turn, you can play cards from your graveyard. If a card or token would put in your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. 14 cards is a lot. However, 3 mana 2/4 Vigilance that loots on attack and enters. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. It might not flip a lot of the time. It's still a very good, decent 3-drop on its own. And if you ever do flip it, it's disgusting. Though notably, it flips on upkeep. So you need to hit the 14 cards in your graveyard, and then it needs to live a turn. I still think this is like a 2.75. This is good. I like it. Maybe a 3. Again, you don't need to flip it. It's still a decent 3-drop in blue-black. Golbez Crystal Collector. Black, blue, 1/4. Whenever an artifact you control enters, surveil one. Beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more artifacts, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts, each opponent loses life equal to that card's power. He's not an artifact himself. Blue-black artifacts. A 1.5, but it could get good in an artifact deck. 4 artifacts is a lot. 1.5 maybe gets up to like a 2.5, you know? Obviously, these ratings can change, depend on how many artifacts you really can get, but yeah, but I don't want to play a 1/4 for 2. Black, blue, 1, 2, 3, Death Touch, Lifelink. I'm liking where this is going. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, discard a card. That is nice. That's a very good 3-drop. Lock Cole. 2.75? 2.5? Just very good uncommon. 3.5 is teetering on like bomb level, you know? This is not a bomb. This is just a very good uncommon. Like, maybe it's a 3. But nah, 4s are basically bombs. We've given very few 4s. My scale ranges from 1.5 to 3, as most cards should be in a limited environment. Ultimecia, Time Sorceress, Black, Blue 3, 4, 5. When it enters or attacks, Surveil 2. Beginning of your end step, you may pay 4 blue, blue, black, black, and exile 8 cards from your graveyard. If you do, 7/7, Ultimecia Omnipotent, Menace. When this transforms, take an extra turn! I like that text. 8 cards, 8 mana. That's a lot. I mean, 5 mana, 4, 5. That's Surveil 2 when it enters or attacks. No, this is not like a bomb. It's just really cool. Not like a top tier bomb, I'm saying. But I am willing to give this card a 3. A little bit higher, maybe even. It's good stats for 5 mana in blue black. It's got an ETB/attack ability. 8 mana is a lot. Presumably 8 cards in graveyard's not too bad with her own ability of on attacks, but I like it. Sephiroth Planet. Nope, that's a 500 card. Nope, that's a 500 card. All right. Black Waltz number 3. Red, black 2. 2/2 flying death touch. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, deals 2 damage each opponent. Yeah, that's okay. 2.5. Certainly above average. 2.5. Garland, Knight of Cornelia. Black, red 3/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature, surveil 1. 7 mana, return this from your graveyard to the battlefield transformed. Activate only as a sorcery. 5/5 flying. When it dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library. Yeah, that's just a good 2-drop. Another 2.5er, I'd say. 2 mana, 3/2 with upside that comes back as a 5/5 flyer later on. It's good. Kuja, Genome Sorcerer. Red, black 2, 3/4. Beginning of your end step, make a tapped one of those wizard tokens. Then if you control 4 or more wizards, transform. Trance. 4/6. If a wizard you control would deal damage to a permanent player, it deals double that damage instead. This card's nice. That's a 3.5 to me. This is a card that can win by itself. This hits for 8 because it's also a wizard if it flips. Doesn't seem that hard to flip because every turn you're getting one of those wizards. Now this is good. I might like maybe this is closer to a 4. Card's real nice. Like the only reason I'm not going to give it a higher score is because it takes a little while to get there. It's in 2 colors, but decent body for 4 mana. Yeah, card's real good. Balthier and Fran, green, red, 1, 4/3 reach. Vehicles you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance and reach. And whenever a vehicle crewed by them attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, you may pay red, green 1 if you do after this phase, there's additional combat. It's kind of neat because it gives the vehicles vigilance so the vehicle can attack. Oh, it's a human rabbit? Oh, I guess it's a human and a rabbit. So base, it's a 3 mana, 4/3 reach. How good is a 3 mana 4/3 reach in limited? Like a 2.25? You really need vehicles for this to be relevant. Otherwise, it's just like a slightly above average 3-drop, you know? So, I'll give it a 2.25 just on its base stats. It gets better when you have vehicles. That's all I'm going to give it, though. Gladiolus Amicidia. Gladiolus Amicidia. Green, red, 4/6/6. Enters, search your library for a land, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Whenever a land you control enters, another target creature you control gets +2/+2, gains trample at the end of the turn. That's nice. 6 mana, 6/6, grabs any land, immediately pumps a creature. It can't pump itself, which sucks. Because attacking with an 8/8 the following turn would be kind of nice. 8/8 trample. I think that's a solid like 2.75 or a 3. 6 mana, 6/6 with a land. Rydia, Summoner of Mist. Green, red, 1/2 landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you can discard a card. If you do, draw. Return a Saga with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. It gains haste until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Ooh, that card is nice. 2 mana, 1/2. Stat-wise, obviously not good. However, landfall ability of helping filter your draws and then returning Saga value? At least a 2.5, and in the right deck, this can be like a pseudo bomb. Probably scales up to like a 3.5 in the right deck, you know? Card seems cool. Terra, Magical Adept, green, red, 1, 4/2, mill 5 when it enters. Put up to 1 enchantment card milled this way into your hand. 6 mana, tap, exile, transform it into Esper Terra, 6/6 flying. First 3 chapters, make a token that's a copy of target non-legendary enchantment you control. It gains haste. If it's a saga, put up to 3 lore counters on it. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step. And then the final chapter is add double Wooburg, and it flips back. Very cool card if you can draft a decent number of sagas. Very cool card. But the thing is, you need to first have another saga on the battlefield, then you need to transform it for 6. It has to mill an enchantment to return it. It can't be a different enchantment already in your graveyard. Yeah, I'll give her a 2.5. Kind of a lot of hoops you have to jump through. And baseline 3 mana 4/2 isn't amazing. It might not even draw a card, you know? Yeah, but a 4/2 for 3 is whatever. I don't rat. Onaka Ogre. That's a 3 mana 4/2, and it doesn't have a double color requirement, you know? Garnet, Princess of Alexandria. Green, white, 2/2 lifelink. Whenever it attacks, you can remove a lore counter from each of any number of sagas you control. Put a 1/1 counter on Garnet for each. That's kind of neat. Just reusing your sagas, especially ones that are creatures. 2/2 lifelink baseline. This is going to be one of those cards that looks a lot better because you're probably not going to be able to pull it off too many times. But, I mean, I'll give her a 2.5 because the potential. Well, I mean, it's a 2/2 for 2, so it dies to anything. But if you can start getting any amount of value, it's going to be hard to lose. You know? Renoa Heartily. Green, white, 3/4/4. When it enters, make Angelo a legendary 1/1 doggo. Whenever Renoa attacks another target creature you control, gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. That's sweet. That's a good 5-drop. 5 mana for a 4/4 and a 1/1, and then big attack pump. Yeah, I'll give her a 3. I think she's a decent card. 3. 3's fine. Sarah Farron. Green, white, 1 for 2/2. First legendary creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less. Beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 2 or more other legendaries, you can transform Sarah into Crystallized Sarah. What the heck? Oh. There are a lot of legendary creatures in this format, but you need to get quite a few for this to be good. It's very cool. I'll give her a 2.25, which might be generous. I think the majority of the time this is going to be a bad 3-mana 2/2. Maybe you get to cast a bigger legendary creature for a little bit less. I mean, I guess maybe there are enough legendary creatures where she's a little bit better, but that doesn't look that good to me. Saga is always legendary? That's not true, right? Some Saga creatures aren't legendary. No, that's not true. Yeah, Sagas are historic cards. I'm sure there are enough legendaries in the format that this is fine. Yuna, Hope of Spira. Green, white, 3/3/5 during your turn. Yuna enchantment and enchantment creatures you control have trample, lifelink, ward 2. Beginning of your end step, return up to one target enchantment from your graveyard to the. Oh, that card's at least a 4. Easy to build around. You just need to take enchantments. Take the sagas. That's very good. At least a 4. Yeah, I could see it being a 4.25. The only reason I don't want to give it like a huge rating is because it's a specific deck. It's not just a slam dunk in any deck. But it's not even bad if you can just cast it. 3/5 trample lifelink ward 2 on your turn is fine. I'm sure you have some enchantments. Yeah, it's good. I'm happy with a 4.25. I don't think it's a 5, but she's very good. You need to like it's best with saga, or you really need sagas. Sure, pick one, pack one. Yeah. Judge Magister Gabranth, green, black white for a 2/2 menace. Whenever another creature or artifact you control dies, put a 1/1 counter on it. Oh, okay, 2.25. Above average 2-drop, right? 2/2 menace baseline. Not too hard to get this a little bit larger. Rufus Shinra. Black, white, 1/2/4. Whenever it attacks, if you don't control a creature named Darkstar, create Darkstar. 2.5. 3-mana 2/4. It's a legendary for legendary synergies. It makes a 2/2 when it attacks. 2 point. Yeah, I'm happy with the 2.5. Nah, this is not a 3.5. This is just a good 3-drop. Squall Seed Mercenary. Green, black, white, 2/3/4. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike. Whenever Squall deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is going to be a really, really oppressive card if you can get it early on. This feels like a 3.5 to me. Shoot, it effectively attack. Like, if you play this on turn 4, it's really hard to block. Attacks as a 3/4 double striker the following turn. Lots of value there. This card's real nice. You're right. With double strike, it would be a double trigger if you have two different permanents to return. Yeah. Good card. The Emperor of Palamecia, blue, red, 2/2. Add blue or red, spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell, and then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent on it, put a 1/1 counter on it. Then if it has 3 or more 1/1 counters, it transforms into the Lord Master of Hell, 3/3. Whenever it attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard. Solid. 2.5, 2.25. Decent above average. I mean, casting 3/4 mana spells to flip it's a little bit much, but it's above average because it's a mana dork in red blue. Shantoto, Tactician Magician, blue red 1/04. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +X/+O, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. If X is 4 or more, draw a card. Again, you need to have a lot of non-creature spells that cost 4 or more. 2.25. I am really reluctant to give these type of cards anything higher than a 2.25 or a 2.5, you know? And that's at their top end, it feels like. Obviously, if you can like just chain a bunch of spells, but I know there are a bunch of them, and there are all those tiered cards too, but the cards that do nothing until they do something, you know? And this just feels okay. Tella Great Sage, red, blue, 3 for a 3/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you make a hero. If 4 or more mana was spent to cast it, draw 2. If 8 or more was spent to cast it, sacrifice, and it deals that much damage to each. So, like, this is a good one. It's a 5 mana 3/3 at its base, so if it just instantly dies, that sucks. But this is just whenever you cast any non-creature spell, it starts. It's a big pyromancer, right? It's a big pyromancer that starts doing crazy things if you have some of the bigger spells. Like a 4 mana spell, you make a 1/1 draw 2. Like this is at least a 3, maybe a 3.5. The only issue with it being that you have to at least cast one non-creature spell after it resolves. You know? No, this is really good. If this lives for a turn or two and you can trigger it, it's just so much value. Vivi! Blue Red 103 with an activated ability of add X mana in any combination of blue or red where X is Vivi's power. Activate only during only during your turn and only once. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Vivi and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So again, this is another really solid card that you just need to cast non-creature spells for it to get good. Right? One non-creature, it's a 1/4, 2/5, 3/6. Like, I do think that Tella is a lot better than Vivi in limited, but I still think Vivi is decent in limited. Like this was what, a 3.5 I said. I'll give Vivi a 3. That's going to be generous. It's probably closer to a 2.5 realistically. This is definitely more of a constructed card, but I'd still say it's decent. Cloud of Darkness, green, green, black 2, 3/3 flying. When it enters, target creature and opponent control gets -X, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So nice 3/3 flying Flame Tongue Kavu. Like this is better than Vivi, IMO. So I guess if maybe I give Vivi a 2.75 and this is like a 3.25. Just solid, good, nice. X Death Void Warlock. Green, black, 1, 3/3. When it enters, you gain 3. At the beginning of your end step, if there are 6 or more permanents in your graveyard, transform it into Neo X Death. Star 3 trample, power equal the number of permanents in your graveyard. Yeah, this card is great. 3 mana, 3/3, gain 3. So it's a centaur, whatever his face is, when it enters, and then it can transform into a big trampler. Is that as good as Cloud of Darkness? It's probably like slightly worse than Cloud of... a little bit. Yeah, it's worse than Cloud of Darkness, but it's still like a 2.75. Just a good uncommon 3-drop. Genova, Ancient Calamity, green, black 2, 1/5. Beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 number of 1/1 counters equal to Genova's power on up to one other target creature. That creature becomes a mutant, in addition to the other types. Whenever a mutant you control dies during your turn, you draw cards equal to his power. That's nice. 4 mana, 1/5 that starts pooping counters on other stuff. Love it. Kind of hard to kill by itself because it's got 5 toughness. Makes your other creatures dying turn into value. 3.5? That seems real good. The issue is she can't win the game on her own. You need other stuff with it. She can't pump herself. But she's real solid. Giot, King of the Dwarves. Red, white, 1/1 double striker. When it or another dwarf you control enters, and whenever an equipment you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So 1/1 double strike Rummager for 2. So it's like a 2.25 by itself. And then it can scale to be a lot better when you're playing the equipment deck, which presumably you are. Joshua Phoenix is dominant. Red, white, 1, 3, 4. When it enters, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. That's a great rate for just that. And it also flips for 5. Phoenix, Warden of Fire. 4/4 flying lifelink. Deals 2 damage to each opponent on the first and second chapters. And then third chapter, return any number of target creature cards with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile Phoenix and return. What the heck? This thing is nuts. It flips on 5? 4? A 4-star rating to a 3-drop? Card's gross. This thing's gross, gross, gross. Yeah. The lifelink on the flyer and the 2 damage means you're gaining the 2. It's not a 5. Nope. 5s are reserved for the grossest of bombs that slot into every... 5 is a GT, you know? Lightning Army of 1. I'm fine giving this a 4.5. 4.5. Like, this card is that good, but it isn't a 5-star. Like, I can't splash for this in any deck. You still need to do some other thing. It's very, very good. It's very good. Red, white, 1, 3/2, first strike, trample, lifelink. That is a lot of text. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player until your next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or permanent that player controls, it deals double until your next turn. Oh, wait. So this thing has first strike, so it works with other creatures in combat. You attack with this. If first strike hits, then your non-first striking creatures could double damage. It's a 3/2 first strike trample lifelink for 3 base. I'm happy with the 3. Just a very good 3-drop. Maybe a 3.25. Just a very good 3-drop. Zidane, Tantalus Thief. Red, white, 3 for a 3/3 ETB. Gain control of target creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Untap it against lifelink haste. Whenever an opponent gains control of a permanent from you, you create a treasure. That card is cool. It ain't no bomb or anything, but 5 mana, steal a creature, attack and gain a bunch of life, and then when you give it back, you get a treasure. That card's cool. It's not like that exciting, but it's cool. What did I give Lightning? A 3.25? I'll give Zidane a 3 or a 2.75 or a... It's just a nice value. Yeah, it's fine. Cloud Planets. Nope. That was a 500. That's one of the weird card. Ignis Scientia. Green, blue, 1, 2/2 ETB. Look at the top 6. You can put a land from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Green, blue, 1, tap, exile a card from a graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, make a food. Okay. Yeah, that's just decent. 2.5? 2.75 maybe? You're likely to hit a land in top 6 cards, so it's a 3 mana 2/2 ramp that has some value later. I'm happy with that. Omega Heartless Evolution. Green, blue, 5, 8/8. Legendary artifact creature. When it enters, for each opponent, tap up to 1 target non-land permanent that opponent controls. Put X stun counters on it. Put X stun counters on each of those permanents. Yeah, and you gain X life. Oh. I mean, you're going to have some non-basics most likely because of deserts. But this actually isn't that good. I got excited. I saw the X, but the X isn't that. This is like a 2.1. I think it's slightly above average. I don't think it's much better than that, though. The Wandering Minstrel, green blue, 1/3. Lands you control enter untapped. At beginning of combat on your turn if you control 5 or more towns. Okay, this is gonna be an extremely fun build around. It's a 1 that I'm gonna want to try to draft around at least once. Maybe if you pull off the insane town deck and get lucky, it gets a better rating, but this is a for fun card. 99% of the time, I'd say it's not good, right? Choco! Green, white, blue, and 1/3/5. Whenever one or more words you control attack, look at the top card. Look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may put one of them into your hand, then put any number of lands from among them onto the battlefield tapped and the rest in your graveyard. And then it has the landfall ability. So even if you just have Choco, it can hit the lands off the top. Honestly, Choco's probably not anything better than like a 2.25, though. You really need more birds in your deck. And if you do have more birds, maybe it gets a little bit better. I guess it gets a lot better. But you still need to be attacking with that many birds, so this is just okay. This is going to look better than it plays out. I guess that's true. If the issue then is that, right, the Bant colors. No, I'll give it a 2.5 by itself. So certainly above average. And then it scales. Maybe 2.5 is underrating it. Look at that many cards. You may put one of them into your... Yeah, so I guess it's always drawing because of it itself is a bird. Okay, I'll give it a 2.75 at its base. And then obviously better with more birdies. I'm fine with that. Noctis, Prince of Lucis. White, blue, black, 1, 4/3 lifelink. All right, that's not bad. You may cast artifact spells from your graveyard by paying 3 life in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, that artifact enters with a finality counter on it. So 4/3 lifelink for Esper and 1 at its base. And then there are a lot of artifacts in the format. It's 2.5. It's a fun build around. I don't think this is anything crazy. This is not a 3.5. Kefka, Court Mage. Blue, black, red, 2 for a 4/5. When it enters or attacks, each player discards a card. Then you draw a card for each card among cards discard away card types. 8 mana. Each opponent sacks a permanent of their choice. You transform it into the Ruler of Ruin. 5/7 flying. Whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. Pretty good. 5 mana, 4/5. That probably draws 2 when it enters. After you discard a card, though. 8 mana flip is kind of disgusting. The color requirements, the 8 to flip. It's probably in the 3 to 4 range somewhere. I think 3 to 4 range makes sense. It's very good, but it's not like crazy bomby or anything. That's true. If you discard a Saga, and then your opponent discards like a land. Yeah, I mean... It's just a solid creature. You think you just don't flip? Maybe. Flipping kills the opponent very quickly. Oh, wait. Sorry, I read that wrong. Right, you're drawing that many cards. Yeah, you could deck yourself out by doing that, actually. So you probably don't want to flip it until you're about to kill them. All right, I'll go with like a 3.5. That sounds about right. Sin Spira's Punishment. Black, green, blue, 4, 7/7 flying. Okay, when it enters or attacks, exile a permanent card from your graveyard at random. They create a tap token that's a copy of that card. If the exiled card is a land, repeat this process. So it's very hard to brick on this thing, and it's a 7/7 flyer. I think that's better than Kefka. I'll give this a 4. 7/7 flying. Lots of value immediately when it enters / when it attacks. I'm happy with that. Summon Bahamut. 9 mana, but of the Baja variety. 9/9 flyer. First 2 chapters, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Chapter 3, draw 2. Chapter 4, deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. I mean, this is obviously insane. 9 mana is an insane amount, though. 9 mana is a tremendous amount in limited. Like, getting to 9 mana is often turn, 11 or 12 or later. It's not generally on turn 9. Like, if you have this, you're gonna really want ways to get more mana sources, you know? And that's, yeah, as well as that. If it's a faster format, this card is basically uncastable a lot of the time. I mean, you can draft in a manner that would allow you to get to a longer game, but like, this is a 5 power level in terms of effects, but that's not how we rate cards, you know? I kind of want to give this a 4. If you cast it, it's a 9. That's the thing. How likely are you to cast it? I don't know. I'll probably just give it a 4. It's just so expensive. You know? Very good. Very strong. Ultima, Origin of Oblivion. 5 mana, 4/4 flyer. When it attacks, put a blight counter on a land. For as long as that land has a blight counter on it, it loses all land types and abilities and has add colorless. Whenever you tap a land for colorless, add an additional colorless. 5 mana to start screwing your opponents, kind of. 4/4 flyer for 5. 2.5. 5 mana, 4/4 flyer is like okay in limited. Maybe it's a 2.25. I guess the plan is to Ultima target your own land so that you can summon Bahamut a little bit earlier, you know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this card is whatever. Adventurer's Airship. 3 mana, 3/2 artifact vehicle with flying. Whenever this attacks, draw, then discard crew 2. Yeah, perfectly fine filler. 2-star, 2.25. It's fine. It isn't Smuggler's Copter, that's for sure. A tier and pre-win. 6 mana, legendary artifact equipment. Equip creatures base power and toughness XX, where X is your life total. It's 11 mana to start doing anything. And even if you're playing like red-white and can auto-equip it, you still have to pay 6. I'm gonna give it a 0.5. Blitzball, 3 mana, tap, add 1 mana of any color. Goal! Sacrifice it, draw 2 cards, activate only if an opponent was dealt combat damage by a legendary creature. 2.25. Lots of legendary creatures. I like mana rocks. It's like slightly better than complete filler, I would say. Buster Sword, 3 mana, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+2. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the damage without paying its mana cost. Only 2 to equip is nice. It is expensive, but only 2 to equip is nice. This is a nice equipment. 3-star? +3/+2 is big. 3.25. it's a little bit slow to initially cast, but it is very strong. So, Elixir, 1 artifact, enters tapped, 5 and tap, exile it, shuffle all non-land cards from your graveyard into your library. You gain life equal to the number of cards shuffled in your library this way. 0, generally. Maybe you can build some cool grind out decks that wants this, but usually would not want to play that card. Excalibur 2, 1 mana. Whenever you gain life, put a charge counter on it. Equip creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter. Equip 3. 0 again. Maybe you play this in the 1 lifelink deck, or the 1 life gain deck that you draft. But yeah, usually this is going to be Garbo. Genji Glove, my glove, 5 mana, equipped creature has double strike. Whenever equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap it. After this phase, there's an additional combat, 3 to equip. This is like a 1.5. It's better than the Excalibur, but it's not good. It doesn't untap all your creatures, so only the equipped creature is getting untapped. For starters, it's 5 to cast, 3 to equip. That's a big pass. Instant Ramen, 2 mana artifact with flash. When it enters, draw a card, 2 tap sack, gain 3 life. Honestly, this is above filler, I think. There's enough synergies with artifacts and cards in graveyard. This is probably going to be a decent role player. 2.25, you know? 2.5, 2.25. 7 mana, 6/6 Vigilance Reach, Trample. 2. Sometimes you just need a big beater, but it is filler. Lionheart, 4 mana, ETB, 2 damage to any target, 2 to equip. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. I'm guessing this is probably filler-ish as well. Maybe it's a 2.25, maybe it's not a pure 2. Lunatic Pandora, 1 mana, legendary artifact, 2 and tap, surveil 1, 6 and tap, just sack it, destroy a non-land permanent. Yeah, 2.25. Artifact matter card, graveyard matter card, late game removal. Probably slightly better than complete filler. Magic Pot, 3 mana, 1/4. When it dies, make a treasure, and then you can 2 tap, exile a card from a graveyard. 1.5. 1.5. And I'm not going to be wanting to play that. The Masamune, 3 mana. As long as equipped creature is attacking, it has first strike and must be blocked. Equipped creature has, if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of this creature, or this bitch. 1.5, 1. Thing also seems like it sucks. First strike must be blocked is cute, but I don't know if that's good enough to give this anything more than bad filler. Monk's Fist. 2 mana, job select, equipped creature gets +1/+0 and is a monk in addition, so it's a 2/1 for 2 with equip 2. 1.5, maybe a 1.5. I guess maybe it's a 2 because it's filler for any deck as a 2-drop. It makes 2 permanents. It seems better than this, that's for sure. Poo-poo! 2 mana, 0/4 flyer. You can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. 3 mana, until end of turn, this creature's base power becomes equal to the number of towns you control. So this is like another 1-star. However, in the cool towns deck, this could be better. Well, this is bad. The Regalia, 4 mana, 4/4 haste vehicle. Whenever it attacks, reveal cards on the top of your library until you reveal a land. Put that on the battlefield, tapped, and the rest on the bottom in any order. Crew 1. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I'm going to give that a 3. 4/4 haste, crew 1 vehicle that ramps you. That's probably generous, but it's colorless. Does stuff. I like that. Relentless X ATM 092, 6 mana, 6/5, can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures, and it can return from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter. It's kind of neat. That 2.5. I think that's an above average artifact critter. Ring of the Lucy. 4 mana, legendary artifact, taps for 2 colorless. 2 and tap and pay 1 life, tap target non-land permanent. Okay. Icy Manipulator it is not, but if you have Summon Bahamut in your deck, this is pretty good. 2.25. 2 mana and a life to tap something is a little bit expensive, but seems above average to me. World Map, 1 mana artifact, 1 in tap, sack it, search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it in your hand, or 3 in tap and sack. Search your library for any land, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. Or shuffle, not sack, yeah. 2.25. 2. It's probably fine. It's not a Traveler's Amulet, that's for sure, but it can go grab some towns and whatnot later on. Magic, nope, that's a weird card. So is that one. All right, we've hit the land section. Adventures in our first town. Enters, gain 2, taps for a colorless. Colorless is awkward. It is a town, but colorless is awkward. 1.5. I don't think you just shove this in every deck. It needs to be a town matters for me, I think. I think this is below average without playing towns. I guess that's true. It has the life gain synergy too, but even still, I'm still giving it a 1.5. Balam Garden Seed Academy enters tapped, adds blue or green, 7 mana to transform it, and it costs 1 less for each other town you control, and it turns into a 5/4 flying vehicle that cruise for 1 and attack. Oh, that's nice. That's a very good vehicle. I don't think I'm going to give any of these vehicles more than like a 2.5, but they feel like they're all above average. They're towns, they're duels, they flip into something. Because you kind of need to be playing blue-green exactly for this, but that's hot. Okay. Let's just give all of the dual town lands a base rating of like 2.25. 2.5. 2.25. That seems fair. I mean, for now, we don't know what colors are better than others, so they're all basically the same. Here's a town that adds a colorless. It filters, it cycles. This is a really good town. This is like a 2.75 town to me. Cycling on a land is hot. Love it. Clive's Hideaway. Clive's Hideaway has Hideaway. It's a town that adds colorless, and then you can play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if you control 4 or more legendary creatures. 1. 4 is a lot of legendary. Crossroads Village enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color, add 1 mana of the chosen god. So Uncharted Haven, that is a town. Yeah, this is another above average. This is 2.25, 2.5. Eden, Seed of the Sanctum. Mill 2, then you may sack it. When you do, return another target permanent from your graveyard to your hand. 2.25. Sure. All right, just another one of the duels. We already talked about those. Add a colorless. 2 tap, flip a coin if you win, make a treasure. 3 tap, sack 2 artifacts, draw a card. Pretty slow. 2.1. It's fine. Another one of the duels. Another one of the duels. Another one of the duels. Ishgard the Holy Sea. So these are adventure lands. So you can play them for their spell and then a land later. Return up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments from your graveyard to your hand. 2.2. Probably slightly better than filler. Maybe a little bit better than that. I guess all of the adventure lands are probably just like 2.5s, realistically. They all have some amount of value. I mean, yes, they enter tapped, but they're all probably just decent. Target opponent mills half their life. Okay, well, maybe not. probably would not want to be playing this one unless we're doing it for fun. This is like a 1. Lindblom's good. This one's a tapped red land that the adventure is making one of the wizards. So this one's above. Midgar, sack an artifact or creature if you do draw 2, and then it's a tap black. Yeah, above a 2, slightly. This land enters tapped unless it's your first, second, or third turn of the game. Adds a colorless. Pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. I mean, it's a decent town, but... All the towns are like 2s to 2.5s. Create a 1/1 colorless hero token, put a 1/1 counter on it for each land you control for 6, and then, oh, that one's good. That's one of the better adventure lands we've seen. Yeah, that's like a 2.5, maybe pushing a 3. Is that it? Did we finish the complete set? Does that mark the end of this set review? It only took, what, 3.5 hours? Oh, all right. Bonus sheet? I'm not doing the bonus sheet. Are there actually like 100 bonus cards? I ain't got time for that. Is this a bonus? No. What are the bonus cards? One in 3 packs have a bonus sheet card, right? But where are they listed? Oh, is it like... No, wait, those one. Those full arts are the bonus sheet. Aha. These ones? This is bonus sheet? I mean, these are all reprints, right? Good, 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 bad, good, 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 good. There you go. That's the bonus sheet. That's the bonus sheet breakdown. All right, friends. That is the end of the set review. Hopefully you enjoyed the bonus sheet, as that was the most in-depth. Looks like it's going to be a fun set. Lots of different archetypes and stuff to try. So early access is tomorrow. I will not be streaming the early access event until Thursday, but early access starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. You will be able to watch a bunch of other streamers, so go do that. I will have Final Fantasy content starting on YouTube tomorrow, and I will hopefully have it all the way up through the actual release date. The actual release is on Tuesday of next week, so exactly 1 week from today, on the 10th. So everybody will be able to play it then. I will not be streaming the 9th or the 10th. I will be out of town, but I will be streaming the new set on Thursday. That is the plan there. Yeah, so that's our brief-ish Final Fantasy set review. Looking forwards to a new set as always. I will be at MagicCon Vegas in a few weeks here. So if you're going to be in Vegas and you see me, please feel free to say hello. I will be hosting some events in the Creator Zone, especially on Sunday, to be announced on what those are. I do plan on playing the PTQ on Saturday. I didn't sign up for the Friday one in time. Yeah, so that is it for me today. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed this first look at, I guess, the set review, which I normally don't do. Blue Fan, thank you for the 110-month subby. Kazi B, thanks for the 54 months. Vulgarian, thanks for the 68. Memnarch, thanks for the 66. Agamemnon, 115. Runganator, 76. Coax, 136. Storm Racer, 7 months. Not to the Face, thanks for the Prime subby. Sorry I missed all of you. Thank you, thank you. Otherwise, no new announcements. But as always, I appreciate y'all hanging out and tuning in. If you want to check that site I was just using, it's mtgset.review. Cool new site for previews. Otherwise, I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Wednesday, early morning. I'll probably start around 5 or 6 a.m. Pacific and go until the early access event is over. So, love you and goodbye.